Ah, it didn't work. Hello, 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 everybody. Are we live? Are we on? I think we're on. Can everybody see me, hear me? Hey, what's going on? Okay. Have a little pressing a button and one thing didn't play as it was supposed to, but that's okay. Gonna give a quick hello, and in addition to that, I'm gonna add a little bit of extra here for you guys. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces on the Decepticon. The Transformers, robots in the skies. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers. What's going on? So we're hoping everybody will leave a like and comment. We got super chat, and we got some super stickers from David Blaine. Thank you very much for that. So figure out let everybody come on in and see how everybody's ready to chat. I know it's like a Wednesday night at 7:00, but at least as far as my time zone. What's going on there? Fire Brothers, I see you there. Caesar and Bing Bong Toys, Mr. J, 80s kid from the 90s. Yeah, let's get those like buttons, that like button hit as much as you can. What's going on there? Chauncey, Anthony, we just recorded that a little bit. Thank you very much for becoming a channel member there, Bradshaw. I appreciate that. I figured I would do something a little fun there before I do anything else. And, start talking some Transformers and news. And we start talking about, you're saying it's gloomy and wet. Today it was cloudy. It's been wet, raining the last couple of days. Cause I live in like Central Florida. So I don't know how it is like north of me or south of me or whatever. Cause Florida's a big state. So, yeah, I should make a series with the ideas from the last stream, right? That would be kind of cool, right? What's going on there, Carl? Oop, clicked on that. And so, yeah, I'll get into that Kung Fu. I want to just like let some people just kind of work their way in, and yeah, who dares not like this stream? Shooting for however many people are on. Let's try and get some more likes today. Let's try and let's try to see if we can get over 100 likes while we're on a stream. If maybe not, we'll shoot a little higher and see how many super chats and channel memberships we get too. That'll be a big push. Maybe I could show off some of my stuff. Like if you guys don't already have the Toy Hacks labels. I mean, I have this is for Jackpot, like making him all like with that Jack of Spades of on the door, and figured I would show that off a little bit. Like the Toy Hacks labels right now, if you're actually looking to get a little bit off on a Toy Hacks label, it's currently Resolution will get you 15% off your order. And right now, also my TeePublic store, the entire site currently right now is 35% off. So it's like $16 a t-shirt. And of course, I've got my designs on there and what have you. And but I'll talk about the comics. I'm going to talk about the everything. So I figure I would just let some more people kind of work their way in, and I know some people like they're fans of me, but they might be like, I don't know if someone else is on a live stream or not. So if that like kind of like hinders me a little bit as far as getting more people watching me on a Wednesday night, but hey, you know what? It's we'll work with whoever shows up and talk and what have you. And I wanted to give you guys a rundown about stuff that's happening with the channel, and because I did my last live stream about a month ago, and I made mention of what was happening to me on a personal level and how it was affecting me, at least as far as like the channel was concerned. So, and I'll give you guys an update on that. I want to talk about Skybound. I want to talk about the RoboSend figure. I want to talk about the AMK stuff that's out there now. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's out there now, that, you know, I'm going to try and keep you guys updated on. I'm just going to move my phone over there because otherwise it becomes a distraction. But yeah, like, there's a lot of cool Transformer stuff just to talk about. So, you know, if you hadn't, you know, I'm just, you know, getting started here on the stream, and I figured I would transform Jackpot here back just so you can see with the Toy Hacks labels, man. I'll tell you something, like, they do something extra for the figure, you know, really make, like, go above and beyond. Because if you only got this figure when it first came out, like, and you didn't never got the Toy Hacks labels for it, it's yeah, that's right. That's the other thing I want to talk about is the HasLab speculation. Lots of stuff to talk about, and look at that, we already got more people coming in. So that's the idea here. So if you haven't already, hit the like button, and we'll just get the numbers to keep going on up. And we'll, where are we? So try and, come on now. Don't tell me my computer locked up. Uh-oh. Am I still on? Am I still on? Everybody, am I still here? Okay. My my one browser that I was about to bring up literally is frozen. So I'm trying to get that up to come up, and I'm sitting there looking at it, doing nothing, which is fine because it gives me an opportunity to you know, connect with everybody here. That's the one thing that I wanted to make sure that I did, is I wanted to make sure I connect to all of you guys. James says, you know, I love the show when you and your kids were watching Transformers. Yeah, that was like right after Christmas. We literally watched that the day after Christmas, and then we watched the '86 movie together, and then we watched it a second time the day after. And now we're like midway through season 3. We already got through like to the Ultimate Weapon. That's how far into season 3 we've gotten. So, Adam Vlogs, what's going on? He says, I hope you're doing well. So far, enjoying the Skybound Transformers comics. Yeah, you see, like, I agree. And I'm going to get to that. Like, so, definitely, for sure. And just close out of that and see what's going on. It seems like Firefox is about to crash on me. Fortunately, like, I'm on the stream here with you know, using Google Chrome for the you know, for StreamYard, but like, I literally have like a bunch of like windows open to start, you know, talking about this Transformer stuff, and I'm like, man. So at least for now, while I'm trying to get everything functional, let me get you guys updated as to what's happening, at least with the channel, at least with what's going on, and, you know, what have you. So, you know, I last year, if you guys are, you know, recall, I did a live stream like right after Christmas, I think it was, or right before Christmas. And I was telling everybody what was going on. Like, I was, I sometime around September. So like in August, my ad revenue was just like down in the dumps. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? How do I get out of this particular, you know, situation that I'm in? So, you know, what I did was I ended up getting a day job. So I was working Monday through Friday and trying to produce more YouTube videos. The thing is I was going to Um, I was going to this guy and I was producing content for him. He's a car stereo guy here in Central Florida, and he just was nasty. And I worked for him. He was, like you said, like I said, egotistical. I would say another word would be narcissistic. Was a lot what a lot of people said when I brought it up. So I stopped working for him like right before Christmas. Just had enough. I had enough. And I never answered back to him. I never yelled back. I never screamed at him. I never tried to rip him a new one. But what I've been spending the last month trying to do is trying to get the content on this channel back so that the algorithm will promote more of my content. I got the Braun video out. I got the video with my kids watching Transformers the movie. I got the Perceptor video out. I have another retrospective that I actually recorded this morning, so I'm working on going through the audio and then getting the video in for that. It's going to be a shorter one, because it's a character who just recently started getting a little bit more popular and what have you. And so they so I'm working on more stuff. There's a lot of characters I want to work on too, but in order to get there, I got to keep a roof over my head. I got to keep the lights on. I got to keep all that stuff. So what do you hear me doing on all of my news videos? It's like kind of sounds like, if I've got 102,000 subscribers and been trying to keep my channel memberships and Patreons to try to keep to get more of them, because I understand toys are expensive, and I do want to talk about when I talk about the Transformers news tonight. Is well, it costs a lot of money to keep to try and do this full time, so, and to have a roof over your head and just to live in general. So I plan on, it's obviously I've been promoting my t-shirts and Patreon and channel memberships. And also what I plan on doing in the next week, once I get the next retrospective done, I'm going to MegaCon next weekend. Not this weekend, but the weekend after. So February 1st through the 4th is the plan. I plan to go there. Peter Cullen and Frank Welker are going to be there. So I definitely plan on going there for that. But the, what's it called? I'm also going to be doing some spring cleaning. I'm going to go through some of my Transformers collection. I'm going to open up an eBay store and just trying to before I do that, I'll probably post it on social media, all the figures that I'm going to downsize. I'm not getting rid of my G1s. I'm not necessarily going to get rid of the current line of stuff that I actually really enjoy. Instead, what I want to do is I want to go through the rest of my Unicron trilogy and downsize that. And I want to get rid of some of the early Chug stuff. That stuff I want to move on from. I wouldn't mind going through a lot of that, the figures in that collection there, and just saying, hey, these would be better served in someone else's home, and it would do a lot better, because you got to keep the lights on, got to pay bills. Other ways, of course, is what people could do, and it would help me out significantly, of course. Which I'm going to put up on in the chat. Of course, they can always donate to the channel. So look, those are things that I hate to have to promote the channel that way, because it makes you sound like, oh, well, he's desperate. It's this is what people have to do if they want to make this full time. A lot of people will, do live streams daily, and they get channel memberships and super chats galore. I see people that they're on daily for 2 hours a day, and people are giving them thousands of dollars. I'm how do you so many of you, how many people do this on a regular basis? But it's what they do. And I understand this is what happens. So anyhow, but that's what's been going on, at least as far as the channel itself. And But in the meantime, I fully plan on, still, producing more content. Like that's not going to slow me down. Like there's nothing, happening right now that I think will, that's going to slow me down from, producing more content. The idea is now that I'm home more frequently, is I've been producing more content. I've been making more news videos and stuff. I'm writing more scripts. So that was something that ended up happening over the last 3 months. It just hurt the algorithm. Like just people didn't see my content. And but I appreciate those who just tune in. I know it kind of like so I'm waiting for my browser to update while I'm talking about this, but Deluxe, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that for sure. So, and right now, like ad revenue obviously is down from just being January, but there's other things happening, much more things happening. I'm just going to give this as a thank you to Deluxe. So for old time's sake, for fun.
Stop! Let go of my dad! It's the double G. Snoop Dogg.
Definitely, I appreciate that, Bing Bong, and I appreciate that too. Watching with my daughter Lizzie, I see her Transformers. Cool. How I hate. I don't want to not to pry, but I mean my daughter just turned 8 and my son is 5, so they just saw Transformers the movie as well. Do I plan on reviewing the rest of Earthspark? Well, I only got to see the first 10 episodes, and I don't have access to be able to see the rest. So I can't quite do the review because I don't have Paramount Plus. It's another streaming service that I would have to order. And swig of water for the working man. I think someone says that. So what do I think about the Autobot 5-pack? Well, I trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to keep the other figures that are in the pack. Like, in other words, will I keep the first versions of them or not? So, but I definitely want it for Hound. If Wheeljack is as good as he should be, I definitely want that. And same thing for Sunstreaker. I'm hoping Sunstreaker matches. Have I reached out to potential sponsors? I've looked into it. I've looked into different sponsors and stuff. Currently, right now, I have a sponsorship that I need. They're just giving it to me, and they want me to build it. Is the Agora Models kit, and I need to spend some time building the Agora model kit. I actually have the first 8 boxes so far, and they're going to get, I'm going to get them like every month, and I just need to spend some time with each box to build it. It's supposed to be like a 3-foot Optimus Prime that I'm supposed to build, but it's like, then this thing is like, once I finish building, then what? Do I keep it or do I sell it? So she's 6. She handled it. Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you very much for that, Hell Reaper. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for the super chat. So let me actually bring up the present. Let's go for window. And yeah, let's do that. So here is my t-shirt store, just so you guys can take a look at the t-shirts that I've been selling. I've got the all 3 Seekers I did in the Top Gun style. I got the Friendosaurus, the 25 cents, the Rodimus is with the Decepticon symbol, Rodimus with the Autobot symbol. And of course, the Megatron one always sells quite a bit. And, then I've got the Con World Order and then the Wolfpack colored one. And, the good old kicking it old school. So there's that stuff there. But if we're going to talk some news, let's start talking about the YOLO Park stuff. So when I was at BotCon last year, They were giving away these YOLO Park. They had the Rise of the Beast stuff. So they had the Rise of the Beast, Bumblebee, Optimus, and Optimus Primal for YOLO Park. And then they're doing the smaller figurines, which are kind of cool. I think those are actually very cool. And they're doing Optimus Prime, like a G1 Optimus, which looks really cool. I know that they've seen pictures of what the Megatron looks like. The Megatron looks awesome. But here, like the Optimus, it's a 20 centimeters tall, doesn't transform, but it's fully die cast, which is like makes like the paint job, work on there just look awesome. And you're only given the live streams. So he comes with his Matrix. Has anyone ever done the? Yes, actually, someone has. So I wouldn't be able to actually do that. So I'm curious, just like if there's going to be another way to be able to watch it, because like you either buy it on DVD or not. So, but the figure looks awesome. Like for a fully die-cast, non-transforming Optimus Prime. The thing for myself though, I'm kind of holding out hope for that Studio Series 86 Optimus. And I'm hoping that it's this good, as far as an action figure is concerned. Like I understand there's going to be some limitations, but then he's got his different accessories. He's going to have his Ion Blaster, the axe, and Megatron. So, and it's they're calling it a model kit. Really, what it is, it's going to become. I think it's going to come disassembled, right? So then you just have to put it together. But it's fully painted. It's fully die cast. You don't have to do anything extra except like piece it together. But yeah, I think I'm going to wait for the 86, Optimus. So, that to me, I think is what I'm really hoping, holding out for. Because I don't necessarily need like 15 different Optimus Primes. I don't need like 25 different Megatrons. It's just like I want the one version of the character that works. And then the other thing that I would want would be the Power Master Optimus Prime. Because I think that would be awesome. So with the whole Apex armor and everything. The other thing is, so if you ever wanted to hear, minus the language, because they have the original recordings for Transport to Oblivion on Serial Geeks channel, and he's doing this, like it's kind of cool. You actually get to hear, Wally Burr. I think let me see if I can actually play part of it. And I don't want to like cut too much into it, but just kind of so you can hear it.
He was serious. He was thinking to say one night he'd take two. I wish our luck would change. Change. That's it. Come around a little bit.
So if you end up hearing this, and I just played a little clip there, so you can see that the original Transport to Oblivion, like how often they like, no, come back. Try to do that again. Let's do that again here. And they would go back and forth until they got the lines right. And, they would even say like, what do you're trying to, like Wally Burr would really dig into the voice actors to get the best possible take. And so you get to hear all of that stuff. As it turns out, Michael Bell and Frank Welker were not present for the first recording. And they had to do a second session with just the two of them to fill in the lines. And, this way that you can kind of hear it. And that was kind of cool. But the rest of the cast was all in the room. And Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, or Peter Cullen, Chris Latta, Casey Kasem, Scatman Crothers, all of them were there. And when you listen to Frank Welker do Megatron, it's actually kind of cool, too, because
trusted, Starscream. Now get out of my way! Once blasted, get out of my way. Get back normal face on and I'll get out of my way too. You are not to be trusted, Starscream. Now get out of my way! Once I've altered his memory chips, he will lead us to the Autobots. And 233, all night, take two. Once I've altered his memory chips, he will lead the Autobots to their doom.
So you can hear that, like, initial, like, it's kind of cool to hear Megatron without the filter, right? Yeah, exactly. And it's cool because you can literally take that that audio and you could do something with it. You know, I would really love to hear the season 3 original recordings, because then you can really go back and like correct stuff and add scenes back in and all the deleted scenes that are in the episodes, because season 3 could definitely use a remastering of all the different stuff that's out there. The other thing I want to talk about is the RoboSen Megatron teaser announcement. And I won't play it because there's a lot of music, I think, that's in the video. But they basically are announcing that they're going to do a Megatron. I think he's going to transform into a tank, but it's going to be Megatron from RoboSen. So if you already got the Optimus or you got the Grimlock, they're doing a Megatron. And that is going to be really cool. I saw them in person at TF. Was it at BotCon? They were there, and they were also at TFCon in Orlando. I ended up going to see RoboSen's booths at both shows, and ended up seeing that. Yeah, now they need a Starscream for RoboSen, definitely, definitely. But they were very expensive, very, very, very expensive. We'll see what Megatron looks like by April, but this is just like the announcement that it's coming. Now, this I want to talk about specifically because this image has been going around the interwebs for a while. A little bit of teaser for issue 5 of Skybound's new Transformers comic book. I am absolutely loving this new comic book. This comic book is doing leaps and bounds for Transformers fiction for a new continuity. Really cool. Really, really, really cool stuff. Like, you see some of the the action that's happening. Like, they're doing like clotheslines and suplexes, and people are getting like some of the Transformers are getting limbs blasted off. It's a lot of cool stuff. Just getting a look at like the different Transformers and different covers. There's Cliff Jumper, and they kind of changed Carly up a little bit for the comic, but it is what it is. And it looks like Starscream is going to be activating Devastator. That is interesting. Yeah, that was the last page of issue 4. Exactly. So, we'll see where they go with that. I'm really curious, but here's the thing. Cobra Commander #1 revealed where Megatron is without his arms. So that's why Megatron is missing, but the arm was present. So Cobra Commander, they even it's kind of cool that they did this. And like that image right here, this is Megatron waking up. So like this comic is hitting all the right buttons for me as far as Transformers fiction is concerned. For a new continuity to get me excited about Transformers comics, because IDW 2 was a snore fest. It was. There's no other way about it. So, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, it's weird, but Optimus's arm got blasted off, or it was blasted to pieces, and so he like basically ripped the remains of it off to use it as a weapon. And he didn't have anything. He's always missing an arm. And yeah, you could come on, Raz, if you're I sent you the message. So, if Deluxe wanted to come on, anybody wanted to come on that I sent the invite to. So basically, Optimus is going to use. Yeah, I saw the end of Cobra Commander #1. That's what this image is here, right here. It's right from there. Now, this is the next big announcement. Here's January 30th at 10 a.m. will be the next HasLab reveal. I'm wondering if there's going to be more Transformers toys to be revealed out of this. So, and yeah, for Skybound, I hope that some of the characters some of the stuff that's happened to some of the characters in the comic book that they can come back and maybe they can have a little bit more showtime in the book, but we'll see. You know, like I don't think like for Transformers robots, they can come back. They, you know, it's people. If you kill people, then they can't come back. But robots can always get rebuilt, and that's just kind of like a thing that happens. So the 40th anniversary HasLab, I have a feeling that it's going to be Primus. They did Unicron. It looks like they're going to end up doing a transforming Cybertron. Now, if you want my opinion on that, I don't know. I'm kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm kind of indifferent about it if it is Primus, because you know you're only really going to want to display Cybertron in planet mode, and it's kind of cool, but I don't know how expensive the thing's going to be because Unicron was a full transforming robot, and that thing was $600, very expensive, but it made its goal. I have Deathsaurus. I haven't opened him out of the box yet, but Victory Saber was awesome. Completely awesome. So there's lots of speculation. There's also speculation that it could be 86 Devastator. If they do an 86 Devastator, then it's like, I have to get that. Yeah, Unicron was $600 in order to get him. $600. So, yeah. Very expensive, but we don't know what this is going to be. So what they're saying is that join BMAC and Evan for Hasbro Pulse's channel as they fire up the engines and unveil an all-new Transformers HasLab that is sure to be a must-have in your collection. Make sure you're filled up on Energon because you don't want to miss this. So they don't necessarily know, you know, they don't necessarily reveal any details. The rumor is Primus / Cybertron. I also speculate that it could be Devastator. That is the rumor between the two. So that being said, those are the, you know, the little bit of Transformers news that have been out there. Because you got to remember, what they're doing right now. You know, what they're doing right now is what's it called? It's 40th anniversary. So anything that they're going to do is going to be for the 40th anniversary. So what's it called? If they're going to do Devastator, that would make sense. If they're going to do Primus, that would make sense too. It's the 40th anniversary. They're going to want to celebrate. Personally, I would want Devastator as a regular retail release. You know, maybe release each of the individual Constructicons and then do a set afterward. You know, that would make a lot more sense. I think an 86 Megatron is going to be like a standard thing. You know, so yeah. But that, like, yeah, Megatron, a G1 Megatron would be cool. We don't know. The problem is that would they do a, what's the word I'm looking for? Would they do a gun Megatron or not? You know, I don't know. I don't know what they would do. So I got a guest coming on in. I got Raziel Kane. If you've not seen his YouTube channel, what's going on there, Raz?
I'm doing good. I'm just gonna mute your YouTube. There you go. All right.
You got your microphone working?
I totally did not see the message because I don't actually have my Raziel Kane Facebook on my phone. It's only on my computer, so it's only when I get to my computer that I see. Like, I've missed out on, you know, the Transformer Underground group where you can, you know, participate in a draw. I've missed that, you know, a couple of times. They kick me out because I don't respond to the you have to pay message and stuff like that. So, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing as best as I possibly can currently right now because You know, I think I did. Did I tell you what happened? Like, did you happen to see my last live stream? And what I told everybody what was going on? And
The last live stream I saw was when you were telling your boss off.
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Yeah. Well, because of that, like, you know, obviously I've been trying to get the YouTube channel to get back up, and you never want to work for a narcissist. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you can tell me backstage who it was. I'm curious.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you if the private chat lets me know.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second here.
So, but that's the thing. Everybody, I think narcissism for some people on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that good fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's that part. We do it for the fun. Well, I do it for the fun. Okay. We do it for that's what I do. Like right now, I'm premiering my Dragon Sword on my channel right now. I had no idea. I just came down to do my publicity and all that stuff, and I saw your message. So anyway.
Okay.
So
I see everybody coming on in, and but yeah, so like I was working for that guy for 3 months, and it was when you're making YouTube videos for someone else to build their YouTube channel, and they treat you like garbage.
Yeah,
like it's.
that makes.
I didn't. Here's the thing, I didn't answer back to him. I said, put my 2 weeks in, and that was it. And he never spoke to me since.
Oh, okay. Never got back to you. You know, exit interview, any type of.
The HR person and my direct manager brought me into the office a week and a day later, after I put my 2 weeks in, and said, well, I know you said you put your 2 weeks in, but we're going to make today your last day.
Okay.
And I went, okay. Next day, I was on, I was on a guest on someone else's podcast, and I finished the Braun script, got the Braun video out literally at the end of that week. That's how quickly I made that turnaround.
Okay.
So, I mean, I really worked hard to get that video out. So, and it was just like, okay, now I've got to produce content. Like either I go and get another job, another day job, either a part-time job or whatever, or I do what I can to get this to be financially viable again. At one time, this was like, paying the bills.
Yeah, I remember, I guess it's when pre-pandemic or just at the beginning of the pandemic, it seemed that like everybody's numbers went up.
Yeah.
That's when I started. But
yeah.
I feel that that's when a lot of people started as well.
A lot of people like jumped on. Before then, there weren't a lot of Transformers YouTubers. You know what I mean? Like I have been on YouTube making Transformers content since 2015. October of 2015 was when my first video on the channel went up.
Okay. But that you did like Ninja, I think it's Ninja Gaiden that you were playing back then.
No. The first video I did was for Transformers Devastation.
Oh, okay.
And then the very next video I did was Who Became Cyclonus.
Okay. Oh, that's
the first version of that video.
I think my first video with you that I watched from you was probably Primus and the Quintesson. Like if I really think hard. So that's what, a year later?
A year later, yeah. I think it was like a year later that I made it. And then that one needs a update.
An update, yeah. That's probably one of my favorite video of yours.
Okay.
I especially like how you reconcile all the different continuity.
I reconcile the continuities. The thing is now, some things have changed a little bit because they've updated the continuity, or they've changed some stuff, or they like Japanese continuity changed things, and like there's a lot of like weird stuff that's happened since that video came out. And so like some of the like I would still think about it the same way. I would still think that Primus was trapped, or Primus trapped Unicron back in, into an asteroid, and Primacron built a body for Unicron in that out of that asteroid, and then Primus turned himself into Vector Sigma, and then the Quintessons came as creations of Unicron, and then came to Cybertron and turned it into a factory.
Yeah, to me that makes sense. I wonder if there's, because you know all of the continuities, right? Like, I mean, you've read most of the comics, you've watched pretty much every Japanese cartoon and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever an iteration of Transformer where the Quintessons were actually built, created by Unicron? Or that's the missing link in all of that?
The BotCon comics.
Okay.
Yeah. The BotCon comics, it says that we were created by Unicron. Our purpose was to find Primus, but instead we decided to make a profit.
So I did not know that. So then that all makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about G1, is that it opened the door for so much more lore.
There's a lot of room for lore. Absolutely.
Exactly.
The in Japanese continuity, one of their initial steps to try and unify the continuity altogether was to actually make Armada and the whole Unicron trilogy take place after Japanese G1. But then they realized that they couldn't shoehorn it in properly. So apparently, I think the events of Beast Wars Neo caused Unicron to create the mini-cons and send them into another timeline, which is the Unicron trilogy timeline, because it's supposed to be a singularity.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so that they eventually said, okay, the Unicron trilogy is its own continuity, and like it's a separate dimension. That's how the Japanese continuity explains it.
And then since then, that's what they've been doing. Different.
All have Transformers as a multiverse now, which I don't really care for the idea behind a multi. I've never been a big multiverse guy.
It depends. I like the. I prefer shared universe more than multiverse.
More than a multiverse, yeah. I'd rather a singular timeline that I can invest in. Yeah. Because if it's a multiverse, you can just say, the continuity's messed up. It's a multiverse.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happened. Like, now I heard that Earthspark was renewed for season 2 now. So
I think there's talk about that. I don't necessarily know if they're actually going to do so. And the reason why I don't know is because it's an Entertainment One production. And Entertainment One is getting sold.
Yeah.
And so Hasbro right now is hurting for money.
Yeah.
Badly.
Well, okay. My point of view from this is that Hasbro is not going to go bankrupt anytime soon, because their investors, part of people that invest, are BlackRock and Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a group known to let a profitable thing or a brand go bankrupt. Mm-hmm. So I don't know enough about the economy and all that stuff. That's just my point of view. And I think right now I don't want to say uproar, but the fandom is kind of they don't know what to think at this point, because there's that video that came out. I know Input's going to talk about it on Friday on his channel. That video where 4 or 5 people are talking about E1 being bought for $4 billion and now being sold for $375 million.
Yep.
Everybody's flipping out about that. But then I don't know the channel who's producing that video, but it seems like a video like what we're doing right now, just a bunch of people talking. I didn't see a diploma of an economist, a title, somebody that studied market shares and stuff like that. It just felt like it was another channel of non-professional people just trying to build a channel. So I don't know what to think about the whole, okay, it's bad that they bought it for $4 billion and they're selling it for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But is Hasbro? I don't think they're making good decision these days because that's from a consumer point of view. Like the 1,100 people that they fired are mostly, from what I heard, the
Creators.
Wizard of the
A lot of
Coast and
creators.
Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
pisses me off to no end because they had those dice slings where they transform D20s transform into dragons and all that
Mhm.
stuff, and they did all the dragons except the blue one. So now I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have an incomplete set of dice sling dragons for the rest of my life, which
Yeah, it sucks.
pisses me off. But
Well,
it's
you want to
part of
know
the game of
something?
collecting.
You know that they were supposed to have been reissuing Fortress Maximus, right?
Well, I just saw a post saying that that's going to be.
I was just about to talk about that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So Fortress
I
Maximus has been
pre-ordered
pushed
it.
back to
Yeah.
August 1st.
Exactly. Wow.
That to me
was my
tells
birthday
me that Hasbro is really seriously hurt. Like I don't like to spell doom and gloom. I am not one of those doom and gloom kind of guys when it comes down to it. You know that. I try to talk positively. I like to talk about the franchise in a positive manner. And I always like to I love the fiction. I love the fiction of Transformers, right? So, but Hasbro as a company right now, not the Transformers team, Ben, Evan, Mark, they want to make awesome stuff. You know that, right?
Yeah, they do. They get, like, I mean, okay, there's a couple times with these stream and they kind of upset me when they say, "Oh, we got exclusive. We know you like exclusives." Like, no, we don't. We do not, but I enjoy watching the stream. Mark is really fun. He's funny as hell, watching him. And they're to me, you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons. So
Yeah,
to me, it's the Gygax thing again. Gygax wanted to create wonderful stuff. He had no mind for business and he got screwed over. And then Lorraine came in, tried to save it. Saved it for, many years, but she should have kept Gygax as a Stan Lee figure, like Flint said.
Deluxe loves Transformers. That's just it. Deluxe loves Transformers.
Yeah. Deluxe, I'll be a little later for because he needs help. He wanted help with something, so I'll join you later, man. So, but he was speaking doom and gloom earlier, just saying we're doomed. But if Hasbro's fall, if they do, they have to cancel other toy lines. If they keep Transformer going, we don't know. But
there's
always,
unfortunately right now in Hasbro's court right now, what they should be doing is like the brands that are selling, focus on the things that do sell. Right now, I went to Walmart and Earthspark is not selling.
No, it's
just not.
Same thing here.
The toy line is what sells the product. I mean, is what produces how they're able to make more money to be able to sell the product. Period. In order to be able to sell, in order to produce more fiction, the toys have to sell. If the toys are not selling and making the company a profit, then there's no like the fiction is not doing its job. I hate to put it in that. I hate to put it in that light, but if you think about it, if Transformers is not selling, then the fiction is not doing what it's intended for. Earthspark, no matter how you look at it, Earthspark is to sell those toys. Like it's to sell Earthspark toys.
Yeah.
But Legacy is meant for us, the adult collector. We're going to buy it because
I think originally Legacy was meant as a show because FJ DeSantos did pitch it Netflix and they said no. And I think Netflix said no because probably the show didn't do that well or didn't get that much great reviews.
Netflix was also doing some things that were hurting them financially at the time.
Yeah.
So they were cutting some of their budgets. I hate to say it in a sense that like when one person says, "Oh, well they canceled the show." Well, it must have been because the show was bad. It's like that is one part of it. It's only part of it. You know what I mean? This is why I also say I don't think Hasbro's the things that are going on with Hasbro is just one thing. It's not just Transformers Earthspark. It's not just Dungeons and Dragons. It's all of those little things.
Yeah.
All of those little things add up. And so you have to be every single, thing has to be doing more stuff to in order to get more people excited about stuff.
Yeah.
And
You
buy
think that
stuff.
streaming services might have something to do with that? Because
Yeah, because
didn't
people
watch
aren't
Earthspark.
tuning into TV. People
Yeah.
aren't tuning into TV. So
No, they're not. But the fact that there's so much variation of streaming services.
Netflix lags, but I want, and I want to watch more of the Master of the Universe, but
Oh,
Netflix
that's
will lag.
tomorrow.
That could be your internet service with like the Netflix app on what you're on. Because I know that the Amazon Fire Sticks, I always have a problem with Amazon Fire Sticks. And I'm using a Roku and I don't have that problem. So it also could be your internet service provider is having an issue with Netflix server.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know. That's just something that I notice. But
I have I think it's Toshiba Fire TV, so it's all built in.
okay.
No problem. Always work.
This guy wants to eat cats.
Yeah.
You don't get the joke. If you have to have seen Alf to know that joke.
Well, Alf was... See, I only watched translated Alf, so it wasn't really that good.
Okay.
So, and then by the time I got... See, I lived in a very rural area until 93. Then we moved to a suburb of Ottawa, basically, in Quebec. And that's that's why at my age, at the time I was 15, and I was the only one in my class, or maybe 16. I was the only one in my class that knew what Power Rangers were, because that's when they came out, and that's when I watched it. Because I was watching everything. Like, I got cable for the first time in my life, and I watched Transformers Generation 2, Power Rangers, all the other Aim Saban show that they had, like the Bid Bad Beetleborg and the VR Trooper. And
I was kidding. It was just Alf was an alien, and I think that like he saw cats as food. I think that was the...
Oh yeah. It's been memed a lot. So that's how I learned more about Alf is through memes. So yeah, and Deluxe is get off dial-up and
get off dial-up, right?
I wonder
we can have jokes and stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if dial-up still exists.
Good question.
And I don't see any internet website being able to be viewed properly through dial-up these days. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody. I don't know anybody who's still on dial-up.
Yeah. I was actually part of the first high-speed company in Canada. It was called Simpatico back then. It eventually got bought by Bell, which is a big telecommunication company.
Yeah, no. I mean, one of the baby Bells, because it was at one point. I think it was like, Bell Telephone, and then it became, then it got split up into a bunch of different things.
Yeah, and then
gotta love Deluxe's sense of humor.
Yeah, I love Deluxe. So yeah, it's just it was a good. That's when EverQuest came out. I don't know if you ever played that old MMO.
Yeah, I remember EverQuest.
Yeah, so that's when that game came out, and we were part of the high-speed team. And dude, that's when I realized that the internet was going to be a problem for some people, because you have no idea how irate a customer can get when his internet is not installed on time or goes down for half a second. I've worked in a lot of call centers. I've never been screamed at as much as when you work for an internet service provider. It's insane. People are absolutely insane. So, but good times. So how's Florida? I know you've been there for like a year now.
Yeah,
a little more.
Yeah. It was 70 degrees today.
Ah, okay. It's freezing rain today.
Yeah, It was cold. I mean, it got down to like the 40s. I think like 38 degrees overnight was like last week.
Okay.
So we had our Florida winter, and we're going into the early Florida spring.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah.
We're going to our second winter right now.
Yeah.
But it's not like, I remember when I was a kid, I used to go, I don't know, trick-or-treating with a snowsuit under. And the snowbanks would be 4 feet high. And that's October 31st. And now we didn't get snow until the first week of January. But now it's no longer just snow, and then after that it melts. It's like snow, freezing rain, melts, freezing rain, snow. It's completely unbalanced.
In New Jersey, where I was living, was the the snow was like I would get like 18 inches of snow, and I was like, this is already backbreaking for me. I can't do this. I know in Canada you guys have the second floor doors to get outside.
I have a large window to do that, but yeah. I mean, it's either if you have a house, you either have a snowblower or you have a contractor coming in doing the job, because it's just, I have a snowblower, and so far I only wish for 1 year where it doesn't break during a storm. It's so far I've been very unlucky with my different snowblowers. So yeah,
You're in New York and it barely snows. It depends upon where you are. I mean, in the city, I mean, you'll get snow, but I mean, I used to live in the city.
you go on top of the buildings, you get a little more. So yeah, thanks for having me over, man. This is great. I've been a fan. For those of you who don't know me, I'm 45. No, yes, I will be 46 next month, and I started wanting to collect Transformer because of this guy right there.
Yep.
And he opened my eyes to the fact that you could be 40 and collect stuff.
Still be playing with toys.
Exactly.
Like,
took me a while.
Here.
Oh, hey, you know what? I don't know if you're into the MDLX line, but my friend got me a MDLX 30 Rodimus Prime. That thing is absolutely fantastic.
That looks like a great figure. I mean, if I was collecting just them for action figures, but I mean, I do want to be able to transform it. That's kind of why I don't really collect the stuff that doesn't transform.
Bad for zooming, but yeah,
the figure looks awesome.
I
love seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love seeing it, but I know that, like, hey, I'm gonna want to turn this into a vehicle at some point, even though this is a very involved transformation.
Yeah,
it's a great.
I have that one. It's
really great toy, and I customize RC as well. Let's see if you can actually.
Is that the 86?
This is the 86 RC.
Okay,
so
I know you did extensive work on Earthrise.
I did, but I ended up getting the 86. What I did was I painted her midsection. So you know how like the midsection comes apart?
Yeah.
Because I painted the white parts with white paint, it's actually very tight and it doesn't come apart. Like I'm trying to get this to focus. I can't get it to focus very well, but
yeah. Are you using a webcam or a?
It's a webcam, yeah.
Okay. I need to get an updated webcam. Well, you did great. I love your customs.
So yeah, there's a lot of work I did on that one, and then of course I talked about the jackpot toy hacks labels.
Oh yeah.
Man, those labels.
That's another rabbit hole. That
the code for this month for me is resolution. So resolution from now until the 31st, I think. I'm gonna have to figure out what code I want to do for February for toy hacks.
Oh, it's my birthday. Do Raziel King. I'm kidding. That'd be great exposure. But yeah.
Could maybe do our RC and RCX Rodimus.
There you go. No, it's Toy X is nice. I mean, I just did this Devastator. I just finished install. That's the Jinbao oversized gravity builder. I think that's the actual name. And I just added the upgrade kit 2.0, and that thing is beautiful. But I had to disassemble long haul, like at the waist, unscrewed it so that the back is a little more flush.
how is it in scale? Like the robot, and it, like does that like transform? Like how does it come apart and all that kind of stuff? Alfonso,
Hello.
hey,
Hey,
what's going on, my man?
How's it going? Nice to meet you guys.
Finally have
Same.
you on for the first time, right?
Yes, first time.
Yep.
And
Gotta tell
love
your
it.
nation, come on and say what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the channel. Love what you do. So this is really cool.
Thanks.
And nice
know.
to meet you as well.
Thank you.
Razio?
Yeah, Raziel Kane.
Yep.
After
Have you
the
ever
Legacy
heard of the
Kane.
game The Legacy of Kain?
Yes.
So that's where he got his username from, is Raziel and Kane.
Yeah.
So if you're
Very
a fan of the Legacy of Kain series of games, but
I love it.
yeah,
Very cool.
It's a great series.
I haven't
guess
seen
what? I won't be able to make it to TFCon in LA, but I am going to MegaCon next weekend.
Oh man,
Tom
TFCon,
Hiddleston.
I know that both Peter Cullen and Frank Welker are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm like, yes.
yeah. If I would have known that it was a G1 reunion at TFCon, I totally would have saved up for that and make business card to have as many interviews as I could with these guys. I mean, I scored nine interviews so far, and one of them is Flynn Dilly, and that was super fun. And
I still have his book on my. I have a bookshelf out in the in my front room.
Oh, I still have his
and
book.
Still have the book there. I actually got the book. I bought it because of her recommendation, but Susan Blue's book.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? I should get that. That's one I've been trying to reach for a long time. But at this point, if I want to get more voice actors on my channel, I think I'll need to get a subscription to IMDb Pro to be able to have access to their agents.
Depends. I
stuff
think
like
that there are other ways to get in touch with them.
There is, but it's just like Venus Terzo has a Facebook page, a Instagram account, never replies. I don't think she uses it. The one I really want is Dan Gelvizan. And he sees my messages because on Messenger you see the icons.
Yeah.
But he never actually replied. And then I sent an email through his website, and every time it's somebody from, I guess, his marketing team or
okay, yeah,
who replies to tell me that he's too busy.
I met him. I think he doesn't like. I guess he doesn't go on interviews and stuff like that. Like
I think so.
Yeah, Susan Blue. I think. The other thing that you have to take into consideration, a lot of them wouldn't go on anybody's show during the strike.
Oh yeah, but no, I've been trying her for longer.
This guy over here had Peter Cullen on his show.
Now, did he? You don't have to answer me, okay? But how much? No, did it cost you something, or did he do it out of the, goodwill?
A lot of them will do. They'll just come on.
He's a great guy. He's the greatest of all time.
You're not talking bad about him if you have to pay. We're just asking questions.
No, he's great. Peter Cullen was the only interview that I actually had to pay for. Everything else, like everyone else, like Stephen Capel and Unique and all of them were free. Peter was, the pay for his time. So
yeah, because I remember Anthony from H&E Toys, whatever. Haslag, he actually reached the agent of Peter and Frank Welker and basically said, I can't afford them. So okay, yeah, I'm sure it was a lot. And,
for the two of them, the two of them was specifically, they don't necessarily go on anybody's show unless they're paid.
I paid for the maximum time allowed, which was 10 minutes. I wanted more. I would have paid for more, but even just the 10 minutes was like the price of a 30 figure. So,
wow,
the big ones, not the small 30 figures.
Wow,
that is.
But he's my hero. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna suffer and deal with it later.
Maybe if I get my channel monetized at some point, I can save up for that. But I mean, I had the first was John Machida Jr., great guy. But they're all great. That's the thing. They're
down to
genuine, so fun, down to earth, and they they're with you. You know, it's not your, even when you go to sign an autograph, they're with you.
Yes.
It's like the Keanu Reeves. You know, that's all you hear about him. That when he's talking to you, there's only you, and that's it. And I feel like that. I've met Paul Eiding in person. I interviewed him. He is my favorite human being. There's no one kinder, nicer. Um,
He's Grandpa
a,
Max. He's
he's just a
he's
great soul.
his regular voice
Oh yeah,
is the Colonel. You know what I mean? Like his regular voice is the Colonel.
Yep.
So,
but I've heard a lot of Diablo 1
this
and
is
Diablo
Snake.
2. And he's in that game a lot. He's the narrator, he's the warrior. So I spent, no joke, 40 hours a week for 2 years with basically Paul Eiding just whispering in my ears. So to meet him was just fantastic.
Yeah.
The interview went great. We actually spoke about his time in it during World War II, where he was leading the Marnie Glee Club and trying to, you know, do a show for soldiers and stuff like that. And we barely touched voice acting. You know, it was just, I just wanted to really go into that section of his life, and he was grateful enough to say yes. And it was, I'm like, anything you do after that, you know, it's not as heartbreaking when you know you have to cut off people that are going to go back to the front lines and probably not make it. Wow. That's
one person I know is a great person to talk to. I don't know if you ever is Gary Chalk.
I interviewed him. He's great.
I've obviously, you know, I have pictures with him. Like there's a candid shot. Do you know who Candace is?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually,
Candace is Gary Chalk's business partner, basically, and she's also a hardcore fan. Well, she took a candid picture of me talking to Scott McNeil and Gary Chalk. Like Gary came over to talk to us while I was talking to Scott.
That's so cool.
And like he over the course of the weekend, because it was at BotCon, like he got to know me by first name, which is like, I already know you're another Primal, but you know, so he knows that I'm Joe. Like that's
that's cool.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Right? Venus Terzo like was asking me questions like, "Oh, how's your dad doing?" And because when I first met Venus Terzo, my dad was with me at the convention, so he was like,
"Oh, okay."
You know what I mean? Like, so she was asking like, "Oh, how's your dad?" and all that, because so she'll remember like details like that. So that was kind of cool.
I think she lost my info because I gave her, like every actor I meet, I give them my email, this is my Facebook, my YouTube, my email. Yeah. And she seemed so interested. Like she was like, yeah, great. And again, you know, we chatted for like maybe 5-10 minutes and it was great, but I unfortunately never heard back from her. So I'm like, she probably lost my info.
It happens.
Exactly. It happens. But then I gave my info to David Kay with no expectation because I know how busy he is.
Rock on.
So, but then he's the first one who contacted me through his agent and set up the interview, which was messy as heck because of all the technical problems we had in the background. Like we started 40 minutes late. Ooh. So, but he was such a good guy. Like the charisma on that guy is amazing. So, and then I did Richard Newman a month and a half ago. I did an interview with him and we mostly spoke about theater. I've never seen a play in my life, like live theater plays, professional stuff. And it was just so interesting. You just keep talking. And I was curious about a lot of stuff he was bringing up. So
was there anybody else you got to meet, Alfonso, or no?
I mean, from all the people that I've met, I literally, I don't think I've met anyone that hasn't been, you know, like incredible. Like all of them are incredible, both on and off screen, like talking Transformers, you know, cast, crew, or, you know, whoever the heck. They've all been great. I mean, in person, I love David Sobolov.
I'm working on a spotlight for him right now. Like I just need to edit and put the image together and then put it live. But yeah, I want to try to get him. Like I'm still trying to get other actors to come on the show, but I think I have to move from G1
Mhm.
because, unfortunately, for some of them, age is a factor.
Right.
So,
Really?
yeah. Well, I mean, it's these people will work until they die. That's one thing. They never retire.
Yeah.
But the problem is that sometimes it's there's a lot of G1 actors that actually just, they
I would have
pass.
killed for that.
So,
That was one of the things that Rise of the Beast disappointed me on so much.
oh yeah.
No disrespect to Ron Perlman doing, in the movie, but
I have respect for him because he's actually a voice actor. Like, he did game voice acting for the longest
But
time in the 90s.
we
So,
should have had Gary Chalk and Peter Cullen
Yeah.
share a scene
Oh,
in
I see.
Transformers Rise of the Beast. Like, we should have had that. That would have been like I'm sorry. Like,
So let me ask you, what are your thoughts, aside from what could have been, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on the actual performance of Primal from Perlman in the film?
oh, he did a fine performance. I don't think
Yeah.
necessarily he did a bad performance.
better than Power of the Primes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's
In
what I
Power
think.
of the
I think he
Primes,
did
he was
great.
very stilted. He had a lot more, there was a lot more heart in what he brought to the table. Just going by performance. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going by the character. I'm not going by how the Maximals were handled there, but just performance-wise, he definitely brought something more to the table in Rise of the Beast than he did in Power of the Primes.
Okay.
And that, I think, has something. Voice direction has something to do with that.
Yeah.
So-
Absolutely, definitely. I just wanted to, because that's what I think. I think he did a great job, but I do understand the whole
I
the
do
concern
think
for
that
Gary.
I do think that also Peter Cullen, live action wise, gave his best performance ever in that movie.
Really?
I mean, I think
I didn't like some of the dialogue in it, though.
the dialogue. No, that's the thing. Performances only. The dialogue was, okay at best overall. But performance wise, I think Peter really said, okay, this time they hired me for the whole time, not just to do voiceover the other actor
No.
like they did in Bumblebee. So I think that it was his best performance. There's less violent dialogue too, like give me your face and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think the character was closer to what we had seen in Transformers Prime. We saw more of his relationship, like his relational side versus his aggressive, combative side. Even though we got that, but
Yeah.
I think that's largely probably why you think that, because they kind of really focused on his character development for like a long time, the entire movie. Whereas in other films, sometimes he's just kind of like the aggressive commander, but
Yeah.
you get a little bit of his feelings. So it's probably why. But he did great. He has not like failed. Peter Cullen has not failed. I love the man.
I was
Love him.
really disappointed with Air Razor though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She never transformed, and she got infected, and they had to kill her.
And she was voiced by somebody who should not have voiced her. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, you know this, Rodimus. I'm a big promoter of working actors when it comes to voice work. I don't like celebrity voice actor. Never did.
Mhm.
Oh, well, you're gonna be real upset for Transformers 1.
Oh, I am upset.
Yeah.
But I mean, and people are defending it, saying, "Oh, it's not Optimus, it's Orion Pax." I'm like, but is it advertised as
I
Orion
wonder
Pax?
what backstory they're going to use.
I can't wait to see what's the approach here, because
Will they do the? I have never been to me, the episode War Dawn is the best origin for Optimus. I understand a lot of people really love Transformers Prime and how that origin story went, and him being this archivist who was just a good speaker and all. And I'm like, but that's just basically what makes Optimus just tell good speeches. That's not what makes Optimus a good leader. Like, what I loved about the episode War Dawn was that he's an everyman. We all go to work every day. We all got to do our normal part. We got to, like, you know, whatever thing you got to do to pay your bills. He's a blue collar guy in that episode, and he's he works at a warehouse he's got his girlfriend Ariel, he's got his best friend Dion, and he sees these, like, the Decepticons are military guys, but they're flying. Wow, they're kind of cool. Wouldn't that be kind of cool to, like, be able to do that? Like, wouldn't that be kind of neat? Like, not a care in the world, not caring about the fact that Megatron has already started the war. You know?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Megatron comes to town. He's like, oh, what's your name? Oh, my name's Orion Pax. And it's like shows him around the warehouse. And it's like, you know, what do you store here? Oh, energy. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Decepticons attack. And then, like, he shoots it. He kills Ariel. He blasts Orion Pax. And Alpha Trion has to rebuild Orion Pax completely into Optimus Prime. And then he's like, when he gets rebuilt into Optimus Prime, he's like, I was wrong to think that to see how Megatron, this powerful guy, how he would use that power. Well, we got to stop him. And now let's go get him. Yeah. And what I love about that is that it makes it like this: every man can become a hero. Anyone can become a hero.
Yeah.
You know, whereas when I look at, like, later origin stories where they kind of, like, take that origin story and they're like, oh, he's him and Megatron were brothers and Megatron turned bad. Well, then that basically makes, like, Megatron redeemable even if he slaughters millions.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing about the live action that I didn't like, is when Optimus calls him brother at the end of the first movie. I'm like, crap.
And everyone was like, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Exactly.
What? Brothers?
Yeah.
You know, and the aerial bots had something to do with the time traveling thing with because they created the aerial bots and they time traveled back, because the aerial bots, when they were created, they're looking at the Decepticons and they're like, well, they can fly like us because we're jets. Yeah. Because all the Decepticons are jets.
They looked at the Decepticon the way Orion looked at Megatron.
Exactly.
These guys are cool.
They had to learn that the Decepticons were evil by seeing the origin of Optimus Prime firsthand. And so that origin story, if you watch, it's just one episode. Just watch that episode and you'll see what I'm talking about, like how they do it. It's such a great episode, and the whole origin story. So that's why I love that origin story. And they always want to go back to Orion Pax was Optimus, but they never want to go and make that story where he's just an everyman. But they want to make him a data archivist. And that's actually a Dreamwave thing. That actually started way back in Dreamwave when he was an archivist.
I thought it was IDW, but I didn't read the comics. So
yeah, it was Dreamwave Comics back in 2002 that did that. And then I can like literally go deep into lore, Alfonso. You probably know I could go into like such deep, heavy lore with the entirety of the franchise. So
no, it's great. It's great. It's good to know. It's a lot of context.
Yeah. So I think Transformers 1 is probably going to go with a data archivist, or probably Transformers Prime's origin. Maybe they will.
They haven't specified, but if they do, just assuming that they do, I hope that there's more to. I'm gonna have to say the line, more to Orion and his story than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Because him just being a data archivist, that's all we know so far. But maybe if they expand on that and make him an everyman still somehow in the same way.
You know what I think they're gonna probably go with? The Netflix trilogy's origin, where they were all, where Alpha Trion was teaching them.
Yeah, could be that.
I think that's the origin they're gonna go with.
Well, isn't Transformer 1's related to the live action movies?
Well, that's the thing. The timeline, we don't necessarily know if it's going to be in the Bayverse or they're going to do the
Newverse.
Yeah, I don't think it will, from what the Lorenzo has said, but he has said a lot of things. So we'll just have to see. We'll probably know more once we get, the first teaser. We just have to get closer for the reveals, of course, but I think they're trying to make it like the canon for every continuity. but we'll see.
But I think that's a Hasbro thing. Didn't FJ told you, Rodimus, that when they went to Hasbro, they said that um, at this point now in their concept,
They're
their
in
idea,
their eyes.
it's all the same.
Bumblebee, you're right. Yeah. Well, it's
Optimus
weird
is the one
because in their
to roll
internal
that.
notes, when they talk about studio series, they say TF7 as it relates to, or TF6 is for Bumblebee, TF7 is Rise of the Beasts, and I think TF8, or movie, TF8 is Transformers 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in the internal notes for studio series.
But
So
I
when
think,
you actually see the listings,
yeah, but
Yeah,
if you
or
compare,
MV, I think it's like MV6, MV.
NV8, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Right. I'm just like
that's
going by
right,
like
MV1, MV, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if you compare, and I don't know, I don't think I'm bringing something new to the table, but if you look at the Netflix show and the Cyberverse show, it's the same story.
That's because one of the writers on Cyberverse also worked on the Netflix trilogy.
Yeah. So, but I
Gavin
think that,
Hignite.
yeah,
He,
I think that Hasbro's direction, because I remember FG mentioning, and Jude Santos mentioning that, they were told that Optimus was the one to get rid of the Allspark and, throw it in a portal.
Yep.
That could never be somebody else. It has to be Optimus that does that.
Which
there's things
the
like that
Allspark,
are similar. I hate the Allspark. Personally, and sorry for everybody.
they merged concepts. They
Yeah.
merged a lot of concepts because in the Marvel comics, there was the creation matrix, which was within Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
The energy was transferred to Buster Witwicky. And then that's how he was able to disassemble Jetfire and put Jetfire back together. And then of course it was because they got Optimus Prime's head back in order to stop him in issue 12. In later issues, when Simon Furman took over, he went by the movie matrix. He made it the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. But in the comics, when Buddy Ansky, like right now, right over here is issue 50, an underbase powered Starscream. Now, the underbase was a big giant cube, a wealth of knowledge that was ejected into space. So they merged concepts.
Yeah.
They merged lore. Then you had the G1 lore, I mean the cartoon lore where the matrix of leadership has the repository of all the primes. So basically they pull from every little continuity
to make
thing and then just shove it all in and just throw it at you and say, yeah, that's what it is. And meanwhile, I'm going, that's not how it's supposed to be.
No, exactly. And I don't like the idea of the Allspark because I prefer the concept of Vector Sigma.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's just a better idea than having this mysterious cube that, can grant life. But Vector Sigma was a supercomputer that could, give personalities to robots. So, and later that I think
Cybertron was
exactly. So basically, that's to me that's how we get the essence of one of the aspects of the essence of Primus. The other one being the Matrix. So there was no 13 primes in G1, but I think I've accepted that concept.
You can accept that as like the first 13 Transformers.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that they were like A3 became Alpha Trion.
Yeah.
And then B, it was funny because I was talking to my daughter about this because my daughter has been watching G1 with me. Okay. And I said, well, I showed her a picture of Beta and I go, who is that? And she goes, oh, is that B1? And I went, it's Beta. And she goes, oh, yeah, that's right. A3 is Alpha Trion.
That'll be a B1. That could be, yeah.
My daughter is 8, and she's picking up on this stuff. Like,
I'm waiting for that 2-pack. I'm the one who called it A3 and Beta as the next legacy, lore 2-pack after Alpha Trion and
How about Vector Creation Spark 1 artifact to rule them all?
exactly. But I mean,
Well,
the Allspark to me has to go. But everybody is so used to it by now that
Well, I
to
think
bring it back, I mean,
there's different concepts. I mean, you know,
yeah, exactly.
once they branch off, because you know the Bayverse and stuff, that's while it's still lightly inspiring some of the new continuities, it's not, you know, directly still the lore for a lot. So they can branch off. They can have other, you know, ancient mystical powers that
yeah.
create in different, and that's what I think Transformers 1 is gonna establish for the first time. I don't think they're gonna go the Allspark route. They're gonna go with the beings, Primus, Unicron, and like I hope Primacron, you know, things like that. So, you know, I think hopefully we could evolve into different ideas. I think that'd be good.
Okay, so here's an interesting one.
I don't
So over
think
40 years, there's so many concepts. Allspark originated in Beast Wars, I think. Well,
Spark.
so Sparks actually originated in
Yeah.
Generation 1. Technically speaking, they were called laser cores. Is his laser core extinguished? Right? And they even said in a later episode, you know, extinguish all their laser cores. Leave none, you know, like there was that in one of the episodes. In the first drafts of Transformers the movie, they called the instead of calling it laser core, they called it life spark. And the Megatron, like in the original, but the first draft of the movie, they didn't dump the Decepticons into space. They actually got back to Cybertron, and then Megatron, you know, dies there on Cybertron, and the life sparks of previous Decepticon leaders is what you see in the movie. That the flames inside the statues, they're supposed to be previous Decepticons, heroes. And one of the statues topples on top of Megatron, and his life spark and the sparks of other Decepticons end up in space, and they get brand new bodies as Galvatron and his new troops. That was the first draft. They changed that to, you know, it being existing Decepticons became new Decepticons.
Yeah.
But you know, but I don't consider that. But the very concept of life spark originated there. So when Beast Wars came along, they had to come up with the concept, and what they had heard was early concepts of stuff because they didn't know, like the people who made Beast Wars did not understand Transformers. So who did they turn to? Fans.
Benson.
Benny became a consultant. All the people on the alt.toys.transformers, you know, an old message board that, like the old message boards, fans were filling in the writers about this stuff. And that's where Spark came from. That's where all that stuff originated from. The very concept of, and you know, and then the all Spark was the afterlife for the Transformers. That's where that originated from.
I think Larkin has another good point, though. If you go down in the comments, you said that the Maximal used to say stuff like "by the Allspark," and I think that's true.
Right, by the heavens, like they were
exactly.
Yeah, by the heavens.
Like it wasn't the Allspark, but I do think that's where he's getting it from. So,
yeah. The fun days, right? You know, and it's fun because like I've run into a lot of these people, you know, who have been involved in all this stuff. Like
I've missed all that. I wish I would have known back then about all these forums and websites and stuff where, you know,
fans used to call combiners gestalts.
Yeah, gestalt. Now it's all combiner.
Gestalts. For the longest time, they were gestalts, and now they're combiners. That's the official term. So that, you know, so that was one fan term that didn't make it, but Sparks kind of originated from an original G1 idea that got switched around. And, you know, I do wish we had more Rodimus Prime. Definitely wish we had more Rodimus Prime.
That's what I want to see now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want ideally, there's two shows ideas that I'll never see, but one I want to see a kind of a new not Beast Wars, but new characters. Let's go 1,000 years after the Beast Wars, or actually after Beast Machine, or actually forget Beast Machine. 1,000 years after the Beast Wars, Maximals and Predacons have new descendants, new factions.
You already got that with the Japanese Beast War series.
Yeah, and then I guess
the Beast, because I consider Beast Machines and then Beast Wars the second and Beast Wars Neo to be a splinter timeline.
Yeah,
because Beast Wars takes place and two timelines happen: Beast Machines and then the Japanese Beast Wars series. So those are two separate continuities.
But I'd like a new show like Beast Wars where it's new characters and you can reference old characters like Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal and all that stuff, but you have all new characters.
Meanwhile, Kung Fu's like, oh, Beast Machines. Meanwhile, Alfonso's like, I don't know anything about Beast Machines.
I've glanced it and I left.
Yeah.
The only actor transformed and you watch them literally morph.
Yeah.
From animal to robot.
Yeah.
The only actor who was happy with that show was Ian James Corlett because Cheater became a hero. He was happy. Everybody was pissed, but he was like, oh,
everybody hated it. Like Scott McNeil was like, has talked so much trash on Beast Machines.
Oh yeah. Oh, Gary Chalk, I think he's just more polite about it.
What I really want is a U.S. continuation of Generation 1 that incorporates a lot of the new characters. You know, bring in Blackout and Barricade from the movies. Bring in
finally. See now we're finally.
Right? Bring in Windblade. Bring in all those characters, but then continue, but still start off with the hey, we're continuing where Headmasters left off. You know, because the U.S. continuity ended was with the Headmasters. I don't want to go back to More Than Meets the Eye Part 1. I don't want to go back to the ship comes to Earth and lands and crashes on Earth again. I'm tired of that. Like I'm tired of like they've been doing this since Armada. Basically, is like something happens and we start the continuity over again, and now the Autobots and Decepticons come to Earth. Either a ship crashes or they teleport, or a ship had crashed long ago and now it brought the Autobots and Decepticons to Earth, like Armada did, or you know, the ship crashes and that's animated, or Transformers Prime, which basically is like the, you know, is the sequel to Fall of Cybertron. So the Ark came to Earth the same way. They're just doing it over again. Cyberverse, the Ark comes to Earth. Earthspark, it's its own continuity, but it's basically retelling its own story. I'd actually want a legitimate continuity where we're continuing on, and then we can bring in some of the other characters. You know, and heck, if you really want to do multiverse, you can have a mini series set in the G1 cartoon continuity where you can bring in Transformers Prime, Bayverse Prime, Animated Prime, for like a mini series kind of plot. You know, just part of the plot of like a mini series set, so all those characters can come in. But before you do that, you bring in some of the other characters. Like that's what I would want to do. Like let's say continue on with a singular continuity, you know, for the cartoon, and we can go on because we're in 2024 now, right? So if you think about it, because the original G1 cartoon US continuity ends in 2007, right? It's 2007.
Yeah, Headmaster.
Right.
Yeah.
Headmasters, the Japanese continuity is 2011 is when Headmasters starts. So.
Oh, really? There's that much of a gap in. Okay.
No, because Transformers season 3 was 2010 in Japanese continuity.
Oh, it was in 2006. Okay.
No, yeah. They actually changed the name of the episode to the Big Broadcast of 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was Big Broadcast of 2006, which
exactly.
The one-off comic book issue is that issue right there, Rodimus and Galvatron.
And I need Nancy from that show.
I need Nancy too. Yeah, I even said to Hasbro I want Nancy. I'm getting my Wheeljack though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I did ask for that Wheeljack.
See, I'd like to see a show from 1987 to 2004 to see how Ultra Magnus and Hot Rod and Cup get mixed in with the art crew and the season 2 bots. So that'd be something I'd like to watch. But one show I'd like to see them do would be Victory. Yeah, I haven't watched that one. I heard good things about it.
It is so good.
But I'd like
the
to see a
animation
show.
is, and it's hand drawn.
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple of shots.
Like it is. I don't know, Alfonso, if you dabbed in anime a lot or, dude.
Not that much.
Oh man, like some of the animation, in the 80s, it was all hand drawn.
Yeah.
So when you see some of this like crazy animation happening, you got to understand that stuff was hand drawn, and so like the stylistic choices that they did. Oh yeah, yeah. And have you guys seen the 87 renders RC video?
Oh yeah, with
that was so good.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was so good.
I actually have that surfboard from Fire Talks in pink.
Did you paint it? Is it like customized or is it just plain?
Oh no, it's plain. Oh, yeah. The board or RC.
I need to get us a label for that, for just to make it like the hoverboard,
right?
From Back to the Future.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be nice.
I know we're going with references that are completely over Alfonso's head.
It's okay.
We're literally like over your head with stuff, and
that's how you grow. You let old geezers just fill your head with stuff.
That's what's happening. I'm downloading from Vector Sigma right now.
There you go.
One show I'd like, an idea that I kind of had, but it's never going to happen, is a what if show. So basically, what if Megatron Beast Wars, not Beast Machines, had changed the timeline? So let's say Black Arachnia fails to save Teletran 1 and Rhinox fails to reanimate Optimus Prime. Beast War Megatron wins. And then we go to 1984. Megatron wakes up because of the repair bay. And after that, Starscream shoots the volcano. And then it's not, Optimus cannot be repaired because his Sparks is dead. And now the Matrix chooses one of the ARC crew to be the new leader. I would love to see the original writers go from there. Like, okay, who's going to be the new Prime, the new hero? What's going to happen? Are they going to get all wiped out and Megatron wins? Or do we have a Sunstreaker Prime or a Sideswipe Prime?
Or Jasmine's Prime?
Yeah. I would love to see that. So, but that's
just to answer this question really quickly. Yeah, the ARC, you didn't see the ARC crash, and that's because Robots in Disguise 2015, which yes is a continuation of Transformers Prime, did visit where the ARC was. So
I still need to finish that show because a lot of people give it a lot of grief, but I kind of like it.
I like parts of it. And I found that the show was a roller coaster of up. Like there were episodes that were good and episodes that were not so good.
Yeah.
What did you think of Robots in Disguise 2015?
I briefed it, then I left.
You briefed it, then you left.
You are a Bayverse
aficionado.
Oh, you had some other word. Yeah, no.
That's your G1.
It is just because of my age, but that alongside Transformers Prime. Transformers Prime is my favorite continuity, personally.
It was a good show.
And I haven't seen I haven't been exposed to that many continuities. Like, I have not finished Animated. I have not watched all of Beast Wars. There's a lot that I have to, and that I plan to watch. I haven't seen Armada. There's a lot that I just haven't seen. Because I guess, growing up, I watched the movies that were fun. The stories were stupid, but the movies were fun movies. And Transformers Prime was just the go-to just for me to get my Transformers fix. And then I just enjoyed it. But this year, I was telling my friends, I want to branch out and watch continuities I've never seen that's been around for a while. And I know that Rodimus Primal here is the you guys hate Allspark, the Vector Sigma of understanding lore. So I want to open up and like learn more.
Yeah, really give G1 cartoon a chance. You
I've
got
seen G1. I've seen G1.
okay, but
But
you gotta watch it from like imagine like there was no other Transformers than this. I mean, there was the comic book, but I mean, if you were a kid and you couldn't get to the comic book store,
oh yeah,
your only exposure is the G1 cartoon, and watch it from that perspective. Like
it's brilliant.
Yeah. And understand, like I brought up earlier in the stream, I was talking about the early voice recordings, and they were how Wally Burr really got in there and was like, is that what you're saying? You know what I mean? Now, Sue Blue, who was a voice director for both animated and Prime, would say like she learned from Wally not to push the actors that hard as Wally did, but Wally made sure he got what he like the thing that he
the
wanted.
exact performances.
Yeah, and he knew what it was. He would study the storyboards. He would study all that stuff to get the best performance out of those voice actors. So
and it takes that. It takes that to get some good stuff.
Well, it does, but at the same time, Wally Burr is the main reason why there was an actor strike in in the 80s, because they were pushing for a 4-hour day instead of 8, because it was just too
much on their voices.
Yeah, exactly. Too demanding. And according to
that, 2 episodes, it would take 4 hours per episode, I think, was how long they did for setup all of that.
So
has anyone have you read the new comics yet?
No, I have
not. Man, you are missing out, dude.
I know I am, but I mean, comics were $1.75 when I used to read them. Now it's expensive.
Is that the Skybound you're talking about?
Yeah, the new Skybound comics.
That there people are talking.
How much is that?
Dude, it is. Price tag on this one, $4.99. Yeah, I know it's $5 US. It's $5.
So we're looking at $5.99 Canada. So
right.
It could, but I mean, I could probably afford it, but it's just, I don't want a digital copy, so I need to get the actual copy. But then I haven't found anyone in Canada yet who's just gonna have it that I can go and buy it. So
is there? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is there a scenario that you guys think where they might take, storylines like from the Skybound comics that people are loving? Do you guys see a scenario where that could evolve into a show?
Yeah.
Or would that be a good idea?
Well, they would probably tone it down.
Okay.
They would have to tone it down because it hits that T rating.
Yeah, I've seen some screenshots.
It hits that T rating. Like Starscream literally squishes people.
Oh, cool. Very nice. That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. He attacks a bunch of American jets and he rips, and the pilots go to eject, and he actually catches them in air and kills them.
Oh, wow.
Like Eric Bana Hulk?
A real Decepticon. Amazing.
And one of them that gets away is Duke.
Okay. So that's how G.I. Joe. All right.
Yep.
Let me ask you guys this.
And they're doing they incorporate a little bit of Bayverse in there because Megatron is on ice and Cobra Commander finds him.
You know what? That's one thing okay. Alfonso, you're familiar with the Bayverse. I think there's a problem with the story of the first movie.
It's kind of an
it's probably been explored, but Optimus, he's looking for the glasses to know the location of the Allspark and everything. And Megatron, when Megatron is trapped in ice, right, in the Arctic, he's nowhere near the Allspark. Like he's not near it, and they move him. So whatever coordinates he put there on those glasses, how would you know that they're under a dam somewhere so that Prime can go to that dam To me, that's the one
Oh,
thing.
oh,
How
but
did the map?
they couldn't move the Allspark. The Allspark was where it was. They found it where the Hoover Dam was built.
They build the dam around the arc.
Exactly,
Around that. But they found Megatron in the Arctic. But
exactly.
and then
But
they
how did
brought him
Megatron
to
know
where
that? How did Megatron know that the Allspark was there? Like, why didn't he crash there?
I think he knew where it was, but when he came, he crashed on Earth the same way Skyfire did.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, Skyfire's telemetry got messed up coming into Earth's atmosphere and ended up crashing on the in the Arctic.
I would have loved to actually see the scene where he crashed. Let me ask you guys this though. What do you, since y'all have been around longer than me, y'all are the veterans. What do y'all think about the Rise of the Beast direction of them integrating G.I. Joe? I have to hear what y'all have to say. I just have to hear this.
I don't know if they'll be able to handle G.I. Joe properly in the movies.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because in today's climate, in today's political climate right now, and I'm not to get into politics.
I don't know anything about G.I. Joe, so I'm just asking what you think.
G.I. Joe is America's daring, highly trained special mission force. They're a U.S. military operation.
Okay.
So what does the current political climate hate right now? America. They hate the military. And there's a hatred for the military. So G.I. Joe, like I like G.I. Joe because I like the way that they had the team. It's a very diverse group of characters. You have, all kinds of different races of different people from different backgrounds with different skill sets, and they can all do different things. And they're all out to fight this evil terrorist organization that's determined to rule the world, Cobra, right? And Cobra has their whole set of bad guys that have all these different things. The thing is, how do you juggle that in today's climate and make that work for the characters? Because the one thing the Bayverse kind of highlighted was Sector 7 was technically the bad guys. They ended up working with them because Sector 7 was basically G.I. Joe. Nest was basically G.I. Joe.
But Sector 7 was disbanded
Sector 7 was disbanded, but then Nest
the Cobra, and then the TRF.
The equivalent of G.I. Joe in the Transformers movies.
So in the Rise of the Beast, for Rise of the Beast, you're saying that they would be considered the good, like the protagonists rather than starting out.
G.I. Joe would be considered good. Yeah. What I think that because if you notice that if Rise of the Beast is supposed to be a sequel to Bumblebee, and Bumblebee is not going to connect to the Bayverse, then the Decepticons have to be somewhere. Probably Cobra.
That could be a way in. Yeah. I'm just afraid that
I think you're going to see Megatron Hiss Tank, and you're going to see Starscream Rattler.
Oh, maybe that's Soundwave. What's that crossover they've been doing? Bumblebee's going to be
maybe the G.I. Joe crossover is actually the where the direction they would go with that.
I think that would upset a lot.
Make a Soundwave the Thunder Machine. This is Zartan's Thunder Machine.
Yeah, I'm just afraid that Scarlet. No, not Scarlet. Let's say Snake Eyes is going to be a girl in the next movie, and then Duke is going to be like East Asian, or like they're going to mix stuff up. That
to me, I never cared for. I don't like when they take existing characters. No. I'd rather you create new. Like I like that they created the character of Noah in Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah.
Because it added a brand new character who they even said, I don't think he's supposed to be anyone from G.I. Joe. But apparently he's going to join G.I. Joe. That's actually a cool concept.
They're like recruiting him, basically.
Yeah. Right. But what I mean by that is that, like, why change an existing character from what they were? Instead, why don't you bring those characters in, and now the new character is your... When you watch even the Bay films, and G1, the Armada Kids, Sorry Sumdac, the Transformers Prime Kids, Spike, who are they? why do they exist in Transformers?
Well, they're us.
They're us.
Yeah. But
Noah's supposed to be us.
if
He is going into the world of G.I. Joe after he had an experience with Transformers.
yeah,
So his character is this new main character created for the films. But now
it
he
doesn't
can go into a
work
G.I.
all
Joe.
the time. They did that with Mortal Kombat with the character of Cole, where Cole was a new, and it failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's
doing it wrong. See,
exactly. They did it wrong.
Mortal Kombat has room for that, but Mortal Kombat has too many characters that people care about.
Yes.
To do that way. You're trying, Hasbro is trying to build a franchise, and Transformers also they did basically Raoul and Trax with Mirage and Noah. Yeah, go watch if you have a chance, Alfonso, go watch the episode Make Trax and its follow-up episode Autobop.
Okay.
Those are season 2 episodes where Raoul is an Hispanic kid who is in New York City, and he first starts off as a car robber, but then he goes straight at the end of the episode after meeting Trax. It's literally Rise of the Beast Noah, his character. Like not completely, but if you think about it, like the way that they did it,
missing the headband.
Yeah, the old 80s headband.
Yeah.
So no go for the G.I. Joe integration.
I don't think they're gonna handle it.
I don't have a problem with it. I am more so, I don't have a problem with them doing it. I have a problem with how they're going to handle it. Are they going to handle it with care? How are they going to handle the G.I. Joe franchise and today, and make it where people care about G.I. Joe like they care about Transformers?
But are they planning a standalone G.I. Joe reboot? So that's like a second movie with Noah.
You already had 3 bad G.I. Joe movies.
Oh yeah. The first one was
the second one was I would say the second one with The Rock was
terrible.
Better than the first one.
Really?
It was better than the first one.
I
didn't necessarily say it was good. I said it was better than the first one.
Yeah, but I didn't like why did you bring back all the actors to kill them?
Total garbage. Total garbage.
I didn't like the Baroness being Duke's ex-wife or whatever.
Yeah.
Shit like that. What we need is Flint and Lady J have a baby called Marissa. That's how you start the next G.I. Joe movie. It starts with the birth of Marissa Fairborn. And then you move from there.
I told my daughter, I said, before we get to the episode Only Human, I have to have her sit down and watch 2 or 3 episodes of G.I. Joe.
Game Masters and
because even if you don't like G.I. Joe, there are a couple of episodes of G.I. Joe that make sense in Transformers when you watch those episodes of G.I. Joe, because there's an episode called Only Human, and you don't know it's Cobra Commander, or you would know it's Cobra Commander just by Starscream's or Chris Latta's voice.
Well, the mask kind of gave it away too.
Right, the mask too, right? But if you've never seen G.I. Joe before, a lot of the stuff doesn't make sense. But in the episode Only Human, Old Snake, who is Cobra Commander, turns Rodimus Prime, RC, Ultra Magnus, and Springer into human beings. It's synthoids. It's the synthoid technology which they used in the couple of episodes of G.I. Joe.
Yeah. And that's why Rodimus Prime is the only Transformers to have sex.
And he got laid.
Yep, he got laid. First day being a human, boom. Gets the girl.
Wakes up and he's like, well, what's this? It's breakfast, silly.
Right there.
I was like, because she brings him in. I'll help you any way I can. And this the next morning. Where they were going with that.
Exactly. But it's the same thing it's the same thing as the boot scene in Star Trek. You didn't see Captain Kirk have sex. You just saw him put his boot back on. That was it, He
didn't have to tell you anything else.
Exactly.
Back then they didn't have to tell you. You just kind of had to go, I know where they went with that. And
then
only
you
if
didn't have
you're
to
a kid,
explain
it'll
it
go
to
over
the
your
kids.
head.
Yeah. At that time, no reason to explain to the kids. Nothing happened.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well,
Nah,
why would she help him and then to betray him? I don't know. If she's bad.
maybe he came early. You never know.
Oh, hey,
Right, and some
blame
women hate
Cobra
that.
Commander for that one, for
Yeah.
making a synthoid body that.
But it's no, I like I'm one of the biggest awaiter of a line to be the kind of GI Joe classified size figure, or maybe a 3.5 inch figures of all the G1 humans. And you can branch out and have the Armada kids and animated TF Prime, but just good articulation with accessories, sparks plugs wrench, and I would love to have a toy line just of the G1 humans. So I pitched it to Kato
Someone wants
because
to bring back
he's
a 12-inch
yeah.
GI Joe.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. Did they still do that? I remember Conan O'Brien on his show
I love
in
Conan.
the
Love Conan.
early 90s. He went to the GI Joe headquarters and they made him a 12-inch GI Joe of him, and because they do like one a year, so I don't know if that's still a thing that they do have, like those figures with the clothes and everything, or did that now completely stop? So
I don't know. I haven't seen anything for for that specifically.
yeah,
Like, because now they're doing the 6-inch, GI Joe figures,
yeah,
which are great if you're collecting like Marvel Legends or anything like that, and you want it all to scale together. That's great for that. But
yeah,
because I think they're trying to bring GI Joe to new audiences, and how do they bring that to new audiences? You need a fiction that people can latch onto. And
yeah.
not everybody will read the comic books, which I think is a sad time that, today, like people won't go back and read the comic books, but a lot of story that comes out of that.
Yeah.
You need an animated series then.
Is
Because
there toys of the live action GI Joe movies?
I think there were.
Yeah,
I think there were.
must have missed those.
Someone's asking whether or not they're going to do an Omega Supreme for Transformers animated using the Arc as a model. I could see them doing it maybe as a retool, but I've seen people do. I think I've already seen people do either digibashes or customs
Yeah,
to make their own. Because that's definitely one. You know what? So what we were talking about earlier about Hasbro, and I wasn't trying to speak doom and gloom about this.
no.
Everybody's Fortress Maximus has been delayed till August.
God.
So that being said, I think that has to do with Hasbro's finances right now. They're not able to afford to be able to produce that many Fortress Maximuses for Titans. They also have to produce all those tidal waves. They have to produce all the other toys and stuff like that. And that's why my Snarl got pushed back to March. My Ratchet got pushed back to June, like a Studio Series 86 Ratchet. My Frenzy got pushed back to May, 86 Frenzy. Like, because they're just, and I don't necessarily know what's going on. Like, maybe it's like, they're trying to save some money here and there.
It has to be.
What's that?
It has
Yeah.
to be. I just got back from the local toy shop here, the toy room. I go there for toy hunts, and we were talking about that. He was saying that I was like, "Why are you not stocking any more Transformers? Like the new Transformers that are coming out, the Legacy stuff, the Studio Series stuff." And he was like, "Dude, they're canceling my orders like to get stock in. Like he had the Armada Prime for stock. He had the Commander Magnus. I mean, all that stuff he was putting it on order to be stocked at store, and they're canceling them. Like they're being sold out. Yeah,
So that explains a lot.
I deal with DJC Collectibles because he's right across the river. So I have my 10% from my channel, and I can just drive there to pick it up. And he gets the Studio Series stuff I get before anybody else. I don't know how lucky I can be for the upcoming waves. But the Generation Select and the Studio Series, he gets like the moment it's announced. So that's kind of cool. So I can get the, being the first review figure does boost subscribers and views a lot. So that was fun, especially the Generation Select. The Guardian Robot right there, fully toy acts now. So there's other figures that like Rumble was pushed back so long, and I don't think it's just Hasbro, but he's telling me that Transformers is one of his lowest selling line.
Really?
Yeah, he said that in the Ottawa area anyway, because I know he ships globally. But
I don't know if you heard about this, guys, that there was the flood in China. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
warehouse in China that got flooded, and destroyed a lot of the toys. And I'm wondering if that was one of the storehouses.
Well, there was a lot of
Wow.
pictures of figures, not figures, but boxes. Which one was it? Was it Dev Zors?
I saw some Transformers in there, and I didn't. I have to remember what I saw out of that.
Yeah, but they were, and now Hasbro's being plagued with e-stores canceling orders as well. Like
so the Commander Rodimus is still in stock at Hasbro Pulse. Interesting. It's a great figure. Freaking great figure.
Oh yeah, I love it. When I saw it in stores at Toys R Us, because that's
when I
where
customize his face, of course. I painted his face, which let me get the gun down so I can actually get that in front of the camera. If once it zooms, the focus.
Yeah, once it zooms.
But
that face sculpt, man, he's seen things. I like that.
There it is. Yeah.
Nice.
Could I ask, what do you guys, aside from the G.I. Joe integration, what would you guys take the films based on what we have so far into like a trilogy concept? Because they are trying to make 3 of these. What would be a good like storyline direction that y'all would prefer to go?
So no G.I. Joe after Rise of the Beast.
That's your take. I would want them to do a standalone G.I. Joe film that actually respects the source material. Number one, have the G.I. Joe versus Cobra. Just give us the good old fashioned G.I. Joe. Duke is leading against Cobra. Cobra is trying to do something to take over the world, and G.I. Joe comes in as a squad and stops them. Just a run of the mill, like a cool episode, like kind of thing, but have some Transformers things mixed in there where they talk about Transformers existing.
But like aside from the
and then do a crossover, do a full. If they're gonna do, I was gonna say do a full on crossover. The problem is like the story itself has to be good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's the bottom line. The story itself has to be good because I think Rise of the Beasts, it fell apart in the second half. You know what I mean? I think that the big battle was too many gray robots.
Army builders, man.
Right?
There was a lot of those.
I would have loved it if the Terracons and the Autobots and Maximals it was just them. Maybe you could have added 2 more Terracons. Have a Scorponok be a second, a 4th Terracon. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let that be. Like, it would have been better if it was the battles were a little bit more intimate because it was too much cannon fodder. That was at least with the second half. So I think storyline wise, I like that first half of, where they were in New York and, trying to get the characters to interact with each other, but they needed to go from point A to point B. They got from point A to point B, and now point B is where I'm like, you drop the ball with the Maximals.
Yeah,
like they did drop it with the Maximals. I can agree with that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the Maximals needed a little bit more story for them. Not that it was already a crowded movie.
Oh yeah,
it was a crowded movie.
It's not. I mean, earlier iteration of Transformers and GI Joe were already always crowded, right? Like
Yes.
so many
They had
characters.
episodes to do that. They had another
Exactly.
like they would bring in a crowd, and then the next episode, 2 or 3 of them would have an episode.
Exactly.
And then episode after that, they would have 2 or 3. That would be Transformers, that would be GI Joe. Heck, that would be Gem, and that would be My Little Pony. You know,
and Humanoid. You know what? That would be a great way to start a live action movie. Would be a remember Starship Trooper, the original, where it's the reporter who's filming the battle that we're gonna see later in the movie. So they could have Hector Ramirez, right, film a battle between Cobra.
He doesn't know who
G.I.
Hector
Joe,
Ramirez is.
and
You're completely going over his head as who
okay, Hector Ramirez was
It's fine.
okay.
I'm
Alfonso,
a guest here.
Hector Ramirez was a parody of an old reporter called
Geraldo Rivera.
exactly. And basically, Hector Ramirez was the link between 4 shows produced by Sunbow and Hasbro, which was Inhumanoids, Gem, G.I. Joe, and Transformers. So you saw Hector at least once in each show, doing a report on something benign, a battle, or anything that was happening. But that was their parody of that guy, and Hector was the link. Of
this
that.
I agree with. I wish they didn't wrap up Rise of the Beasts in one movie. They could have had. You know what Rise of the Beasts suffers from?
Well, no order.
What does Rise of the Beast suffer from, Mr. RodimusPrimal?
Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
Merging 3 movies into one movie.
Yeah.
All of this story could have been split into 2 movies.
They could. Actually, I think it was what the one part in Rise of the Beast that was really mishandled is Scourge, in the sense that Scourge should have been Optimus Prime from the Bayverse movie, turned by Unicron.
That's they could have done that. That would have completely
that would have
connected Alfonso right there.
But that would have connected Bayverse and the Bumblebee movie timeline, because they keep saying it's the same universe. Okay, Optimus Prime from Bayverse fell, got turned into Scourge or Nemesis Prime or whatever by Unicron, and now he's his hero.
That's a good theory, but I'm glad that he was just. I would have preferred if he was actually if there was a backstory to him.
Yeah,
but I don't necessarily think it should have been Bayverse Optimus. I'm fine with him not being Bayverse.
But it's the same personality, right?
I think that his personality, he should have. There should have been a backstory to him. There just wasn't. That's all. As far as I didn't mind him, I actually thought he was a great villain. In the movie, I thought he was actually a really great villain. A lot of the movie I enjoyed it. That's the thing. I enjoyed the movie as a whole. But there were parts of it I'm like, man, it really fell apart here. They could have done this better here. But you do that with everything, right? Every movie you're going to nitpick.
Yeah. Where was Stratosphere in the battle?
I still think to this day, Rise of the Beasts is a better film than a lot of the Bayverse.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that the Bayverse for you, it's a lot more. You like that, like the Bayverse a little bit more. But how did you feel about Rise of the Beasts?
I think it would. Okay, I enjoyed some, not all of the Bayverse. Some of the Bayverse films more. Like the first film, I mildly enjoyed the second. There's the action, just the action, and I loved the third. But I agree that Rise of the Beast is a better movie than all of them, just story wise, character wise. Forethought, a lot of forethought went into it. It's not just they're throwing together explosions.
Yeah.
And so there's more craftiness to it than a lot of what the Bayverse had. The Bayverse was spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Rise of the Beast and I think Rise of the Beast was trying to intermingle some of that spectacle in the final battle.
I enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? What you're talking about right there. That's it. That's what I enjoyed, that they were trying to tell a story and trying to get things to work and trying to piece it together.
Yeah.
There are parts of it that I don't think that worked, but I think that they were really trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you just said, the
Yeah.
Bayverse was all about spectacle.
It's all spectacle and excitement and let's fight, right?
Right.
And so, you can it sounds as someone who knows the lore, you are Vector Sigma. I think that it's understandable. It's understandable for him for you to like prioritize, you just want like really good storyline. The action's good, but and that's probably what you probably loved Bumblebee
Yes.
as a result. You see? And so that's I can appreciate both. I like to have fun sometimes. So I like the spectacle of Bayverse, but I do think Rise of the Beast is a better crafted movie than a lot of the Bay, probably 70% of the Bayverse. So, but I mean, if I'm ranking it in what I enjoyed the most, I would my ranking would be Dark of the Moon and then Rise of the Beast.
So you say Dark of the Moon is you even rank Dark of the Moon higher than the 07 movie?
Personally. And then I would put 07 right beneath Rise of the Beasts.
Okay.
That's just in terms of enjoyment, not in terms of what I think is actually the best. In terms of what I think is the best, I really don't know.
I like the first two. And then after that, I did not enjoy the third one as much as a lot of people did. My not problem. I don't want to say problem because I don't want to divide the fandom here. The problem that I had kind of with the Bayverse, other than character designs, because that's just not my taste. My favorite scene of the entire first 3 movie has nothing to do with Transformers. Okay? My favorite scene is when the parents are used as bait in the final battle. And
in Revenge of the Fallen,
they save the parents, and then the dad won't let go of Sam. And he's like, "No, I'm coming with you." That hit me so hard as a dad. Great
that was
acting.
the one moment, and it was
that was
exactly
one
fantastic
moment.
acting.
But that's my favorite scene of the entire franchise, and it has nothing to do with robots. So to me, that's as a franchise, that's a problem. Because the name on the movie is not Sam's dad, it's Transformers.
Right.
So that was my only thing. I've enjoyed the movies. I stopped buying them after a while. Like I think I have the first 4. And after that, I stopped. And now my son really loves Rise of the Beast. So because that was his first theater, like Transformer in theaters. So that's going to be his G1. Or the one he remembers the most, because really we watched Cyberverse together, we watched BotBots. He doesn't care for G1, like a couple episodes, because he knows the robots because he's seen the collection, but he doesn't get involved in the show yet. So, but that was, I like that Bayverse saved the franchise when it did. I don't like where they went with it. I thought Bumblebee was going to save the whole thing. And even though film critics will keep saying that it's one of the lowest grossing movie of all time, and same with Rise of the Beast, it didn't do well financially. But story-wise, Rise of the Beast was probably the best, in my opinion.
Where do you place Bumblebee as terms of the live action films?
I would
both of you.
I would place it okay. So I like the first 2, but I would put Rise of the Beast above that, and probably Bumblebee as number 3, because I really enjoyed the opening scenes, like most G1ers did. Like it was just a good adaptation of what we expected a live action to be. I didn't care much for the whole story with whatever the name of the girl was. To me, that was just, Bumblebee jumping behind a rock. Like I can't say that word anymore. He's not mentally challenged. He's just wiped his brain. They wiped his memory. If you get amnesia, you don't forget to do basic human stuff like hiding, or it just, to me, that it just didn't make a lot of sense that he would behave that way.
Where did you place Bumblebee, Alfonso?
In terms of quality of the story, I would place it probably second to Rise of the Beasts. I think that Rise of the Beasts story was really cliche with the MacGuffin thing, but I'd like, so if we're judging that, then of course I think B is better. But like Rise of the Beasts has had a lot to establish. They had to establish a lot of ground because they're trying to introduce a whole new thing and start a whole new trilogy. So it couldn't really wrap up the way that Bumblebee could because it's a solo film. That's the way that I see it. So I think Rise of the Beast did a good job, you know, assembling all these elements together to start something new while also concluding somehow. And then I think Bumblebee is the second best in terms of like writing and story and trying to make its own original thing. And then I would put the 07 film after that. But in terms of enjoyment, it's not in my top 3. But in terms of I have 2 different tiers. I can understand the craftiness of a film and rank it that way. And then my personal enjoyment is different because I think Dark of the Moon was killer, you know, and I love the original trilogy. I love the Bayverse. Just have fun with it. If you just turn your brain off, it's a lot of fun. I guarantee.
Turn your brain off, you're still gonna hate Last Night. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, and with my brain off, the Last Night is a problem. No, raise up.
That was fanfic, right? Last Night was fan fiction, right? You know, some guy just wrote something.
Last Night was someone bashed your skull in and said, "Here's Transformers."
You know,
oh gosh, was Last
why
Night.
was Anthony Hopkins in that movie at all? It to me was like that's probably a situation like when Sean Connery was getting older and he was offered The Matrix, didn't understand it. Was offered Lord of the Ring, didn't understand it. And then was offered League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and just said, screw it, I'm going to do it. I think that's what happened with Anthony. He was offered a couple scripts that he didn't understand, and he said, oh, Transformers, I've heard the name, I'll do it.
Probably.
And then, you know, it was...
He had fun when... You can tell he was having fun while he was there. That's kind of how I feel like. He was just like... He came in, he's like, yeah, we're just going to have fun, whatever, and he just hammed up the role as best he could, took the paycheck, and just, you know, went home and said, I hope this movie just sells well. And if it doesn't, oh, well, I had fun. Like,
it's like Jeremy Irons in the first Dungeons and Dragons movie. He had fun doing his role. The movie sucked.
You know,
Frank Langella
really
as
in
Skeletor.
that Dungeons and Dragons movie, Bruce Payne. He was the guy with the blue lipstick.
Oh God, that was such a horrible character.
He is a horror. That was the point. That was so funny about it.
Yeah.
He was such a horrible character.
Yeah, I think he's in the sequel because I never knew that there is sequels to that movie. I never watched it, but
so Wyatt the Wise wants to know how you feel about Amnesia. How do you feel about Cyberverse? Because can't get past Bumblebee being. He gets over it by second season.
Even before that, I think it was handled. It's funny. I just watched the pilot episode because I was capturing stuff for a Windblade review. I think Cyberverse it's one of those show like animated where it starts to be for the kids, and eventually they realize that daddy's watching it, and then the story gets better. So I think Cyberverse was probably the best show for kids that compared to Earthspark or RID 2015. So for that, let's say the past 10 years, I think that's probably going to be something you'll see on shelf in 40 years if Hasbro survives. I think Cyberverse is going to make...
Cyberverse has some staying power for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, it for all it's worth, Cyberverse was a really good modern reinterpretation of Transformers. There were things I didn't like in Cyberverse, don't get me wrong. I always have my issues. Like, I'm like one of those kind of guys, like I'll I could pick out something in G1, I could pick out something in Beast Wars, I could pick out something in Armada of things, but at the same time, I think as far as like as an overall storyline, I think Cyberverse did a pretty good, decent job of a lot of stuff. There are parts of it that I didn't care for, but man, just like I think it was a really good overall story.
Yeah,
I didn't like the first season. First season of Cyberverse was like that first half of the first season when it was all Bumblebee didn't have his voice and it was all amnesia, and I'm like,
I'm glad he got
no.
his voice back in season 2.
By season 2 he gets his voice back. The show got better in season 2.
Windblade got sidelined so hard after season 1, so that
She did.
I missed that because she was actually, I just reviewed her figure from the Legacy line, and she was a good character. And you know, I did a couple voice actor spotlight for G1 and many for G1 and Beast Wars. And Beast Wars, it's a smaller cast, so I want to finish that. But after that, I want to branch out to do Cyberverse and Transformers Prime and stuff like that. So
I've seen them all, and I watch them a lot because when I do the retrospectives and stuff like that, like I'm watching all of it.
What's your favorite show, Rodimus?
Well, should be kind of obvious.
Aside from
I would say Beast Wars.
Okay.
Me too.
Beast I adore Beast Wars. I think animated is my number 3. And then Prime, and then Prime is my number 4.
You know, I'm gonna go G1 Beast Wars. G1 Beast Wars. I'm gonna go Cyberverse animated Prime. To me, that's because I've spent time, but there's a different attachment because I watched Cyberverse with
that's the attachment. I think Cyberverse ranks up there too. Like that. It's funny too because I remember there were a couple people who I met within the last couple of years, and we were talking about the different Transformer series, and they all said the same thing. Like, well, G1's on another level. Like you can rank all the rest, but G1's going to be on another level. And I went, okay, all right, I can see where you're going with that because it's the start. If you think about it, when you watch Generation 1 and then you watch every other show after it, you can see where they took concepts from Generation 1 and applied it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Dark of the Moon is the ultimate Doom.
The ultimate Doom mixed with the Megatron's master plan.
Yeah.
And there was another storyline that was mixed in there. Dweller in the Depths with the Driller.
Yes.
I like that question. What is something you guys like about the last night? Here's a challenge, a real challenge. It's easy to say.
Okay, the end credits were really good.
Yeah. Come on, you could
before they all got killed, I liked them adding new Decepticons.
Okay.
Not so much the introduction. I didn't like the Suicide Squad thing.
No, I don't like it either.
But I liked that they added these brand new. Like I like that Megatron had this new squad. They should have remained with him throughout the movie.
Cool.
That's where I think that was missing. Like they made Megatron to be the big bad again, and yet he doesn't. You get introduced to these Decepticons, and they all have personality, and they all get killed.
Yeah. So
before they got killed, I liked the introduction of all these new Decepticons. How do I feel about? So Wyatt wants to know, what do I feel about the Prime Wars trilogy?
Prime Wars trilogy.
That is with the with Windblade and Megatron and
it's at the time I liked it, but when I rewatched it, that's when I noticed a couple things that I really didn't care for. I think the voice acting was suffering from what the Netflix show would suffer from, which is pacing a little bit. It wasn't energetic enough. It wasn't It was gloomy. It was depressing. That first fight with Computron is my favorite Autobot combiner. And he got screwed in that, first battle. And then after that, you have Menasor speaking like a teenager hitting puberty with the voice fluctuation. And it was just not great. I like Starscream's, who master planned a way to get all of this power over a span of, I don't know how many years since Optimus and Megatron retired. And so I thought Starscream felt like Starscream. Greg Berger reprising Grimlock, that was great. Judd Nelson, I think, got screwed reprising Hot Rod. He wasn't portrayed well. Optimus being able to jump 500 feet.
It was video game. It was like it was literally like a video game cutscene.
Yeah, exactly. So
that was the way that I described it. And in fact, my conversation with FJ DeSanto, he kind of he's like, I understand what you mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he worked on that at the end, right? They brought him in to save the show, and I think his season was probably the best. Megatron was again a great portrayal. That's one thing. Shows give good stories and arcs to Megatron, and then live action, he gets screwed from movie 1 to now.
Yeah. Megatron has not had a good track record in the movies.
No, like you barely see him in the first one.
That's probably why so many people love Transformers Prime Megatron so much.
Exactly, because then you bring back Frank Welker, who's a machine of voice acting.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he is.
Hearing him go, like I was listening to the Transport to Oblivion recordings,
right?
And that it was basically Dr. Claw's voice for Soundwave, and then they vocoded it for, processed it so that it sounded like Soundwave.
Yep.
So when he spoke, it was more like "Proceed, Megatron," and then it would come out with the processing, and it would be like "Proceed, Megatron."
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's probably what Michael Bay decided not to do.
Michael Bay actually, when you hear Soundwave speak in the movies, it's the same. There's one episode in G1 where they forgot to use the voice coder. I think it's either the Web World or the one.
Well, first you had to roll for it, and then in Web World, and yeah, those are the two episodes in which Soundwave.
There's a line or two where they forget to use.
Yeah, they didn't process it.
It's the same voice then that it is when Soundwave is deploying Ravage, or whatever the Decepticons in the second movie. So I thought, he's faithful to his own previous material. He remembered it, and he's like, all right, Soundwave sounds like this, and that's what we're gonna go with. So. But I mean, he got screwed. I mean, Hugo Weaving didn't do an amazing job.
I think Alfonso agrees with this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
that was my enthusiasm for the.
I don't think Chris Hemsworth. He's a celebrity, so I don't want him to voice it. That's my point. I don't like celebrity voice actors, but there's going to come a time where Peter Cullen is going to pass, and we're going to have to pass the torch. And I would actually love for an actor to do an Optimus Prime that is not an impression of Peter Cullen. Just come out with a new voice. That's what we actually, when Peter Cullen dies, I think Hasbro should retire the character. They should say, all right, we're not going to put him in any more fiction.
Here's the thing.
We're still going to make toys. They won't do Disney, but they should.
Listen, Walt Disney was the original voice to Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
And they have not changed what Mickey Mouse sounded like since.
That's a valid point.
People want to talk about the impression. The problem with the impression is that the actor's still alive and the actor still wants to do it.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Sorry. So what you're literally saying is that we can't afford you,
or won't.
right?
You know, they're not willing to pay for him. And I think it was a poor choice to hire Jake Fushi. He did a better job in Cyberverse, but for the Netflix show, he could not act because
But Peter Cullen is still around.
Exactly. They should
And
have.
Peter Cullen could still voice Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And he still enjoys and wants to continue voicing Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
In Japan, the Japanese Optimus Prime has come back to voice Optimus Prime in Japan. And he's done so. And he's almost every Transformer series, you know, even if it's in different continuity. When you listen to Mickey Mouse in every single iteration of Mickey Mouse, even if it's within like they had the Mickey Mouse cartoons and stuff like that. I'm using him as an example because it's a, you know, one of those oldest, types.
Yeah.
It's the same inflection. It's the same style voice.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference between them, but you hear the same character. What you're hearing now out of Jake Fushi is that he's not really capturing the same flavor that Peter Cullen brings to the table.
No.
And that's the reason why people don't like when they hear Jake Fushi as Optimus Prime, they're like, I can't get used to this because of how iconic Peter Cullen is with the voice.
Yeah.
So what it tells you is that they have not found a suitable replacement.
That's why they're
How's Alan Tudyk doing for Earthspark?
He's doing a completely different thing for Earthspark.
So it's not the same.
It's not even.
He's not trying to Peter Cullen.
Yeah, it's
like
not even
Gary Chalk in Armada.
Right.
It doesn't have the same cadence as Peter Cullen's Prime.
No, because Peter Cullen brings something to the table, and you know what's funny, because if you listen to more modern interviews with Peter Cullen, he'll tell you like, yeah, it's not like he talks about how he with Generation 1 in the old show, how lighthearted his voice sounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he almost sounds like he wants to bring that back in his performance.
Yeah.
But everybody thinks of Prime as the Transformers Prime version of Prime.
And that's how I love him. That's how I like him. That's how I like him.
And I tell speeches instead of, hey, Spike, think fast.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah. Interesting, a booby trap that actually catches boobies. Or
the Earthlings say, lay it on me, man.
I think as the Earthlings say, lay it on me, man.
Yeah.
Like I loved it. I love it because what it does is that okay, Optimus can still be the Autobots, transform and roll, and we have to fight back, like all that stuff is still there. But there are these lines where Optimus shows off his lighthearted side, and I think that that's what Cyberverse was trying to do with Jake Fushi as Optimus, whereas Jake Fushi trying to do the serious Optimus that from now, more in modern stuff, the Netflix trilogy just couldn't do, whereas Peter Cullen was able to do both.
Yeah.
And he talks, and you listen, you know what I mean? It's like he's able to do both. And if he really wanted to, we could have both take like the, I can imagine if you read the new Skybound comics, read them in read Optimus in Peter Cullen's voice.
That's kind of automatic. Because I did go back.
It is automatic.
And I read any book I read, if there's a voice associated with it, like I'm reading the original Conan, right? And I don't associate Arnold Schwarzenegger to that version of Conan because he doesn't look, he has the physique, but the face and everything is not what it's described. So I'm hearing it as the game Conan Exile. That's what I'm. So reading any comic book, I'll read Prowl as Michael Bell. I'll read Bumblebee as Dan Gilvezan. That's my brain associate voices to characters. So
Now this one here, yeah, David K was Optimus and animated.
Yeah.
And see, like, yeah, and David K was more of a younger, and I actually said this to him. I said, like, what you brought to the table in animated was basically Rodimus, but in Optimus skin, because it was the young, unsure upstart leader.
Oh man, that would be great. Imagine that. You have Peter Cullen, you have Frank Welker, and then you bring in David K as a Hot Rod or Rodimus Prime, because now
I can totally picture a David K doing in a more modern day Hot Rod into Rodimus Prime. I can totally picture that with David K. Now, mind you, I don't know how long David K's been, like, would David K do that role? I mean, David K would. He would come back to Transformers for anything, but, but that would work.
If Susan Blue called him and said, "Hey, I need you on this project," he'd be like, "Yeah."
Yeah. But Optimus, like, one of the things that, like, in Transformers Prime, they were like, "Oh, Primes don't party," and I'm like, and then he parties in Transformers Cyberverse.
Remember when Prime used to laugh in G1 at the end of each episode? That happened.
Well, it's funny too, because when Flint Dille took over voice acting, I mean, took over the story editing.
Yeah.
One of the notes that he says is, "I don't want an episode to end with everybody sitting there around in a circle and laughing." He's like, I want more locations. I want more places. Yeah. Don't just bring me to the desert. Bring me to take them to space. Take them to a grassy field. Bring them into the city to fight. Take them different places. Because a lot of people who hate Transformers Prime, and I'm not a person that hates Transformers Prime. Don't get it twisted. Okay. One of the main complaints of Transformers Prime is that it's very dull scenery. There's not a lot of fun.
It's like each show has his own biome, right? G1 season 1, desert. Beast Wars was plains. And then after that, you had RID 2015 was forest, Now
I'm trying to think about this now, because, I mean, David K has been Optimus, and he's also been Megatron. He was Megatron in Beast Wars. Beast Wars Megatron and Unicron Trilogy Megatron are completely different characters.
Yeah.
Like, completely different.
But Gary Chalk was actually the first actor to voice a Megatron and a Optimus, because he was the Megatron recording in Beast Wars.
In Beast Wars, that's right.
And that was something that Candice Santora sent to me by text. Like, we're friends on Instagram, and she's like, "Oh, actually this happened." I'm like, man, that killed the whole thing, because it was everybody saying David K. It was the first one to do it, but no, it's Gary.
I would love a scene with the Beast characters, Gary Chalk and David K.
Yeah.
And Frank Welker and Peter Cullen sharing a scene, all four of them have a conversation with each other.
Yeah.
Like, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Chris Latta and Luke Barker.
We're going to bring Chris Latta back to life.
Yeah.
Alfonso's too young to know who Chris Latta is.
Watch my spotlight, man. That's, that's actually my still most popular video, like long video. I'm at 4.9 thousand. I'm a small channel, by the way, Alfonso. Like, I just hit 700 last week. So yeah. And it's still Chris Latta, my second video.
The Megatron's facial expressions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You had a.
I know. I it's funny because, like, I'm tearing apart Transformers Prime without actually without actually. You have to understand.
I'm holding back so much. I can't.
I want you to understand that my nitpicks of things is not me hating in that series.
Never.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't hate the series.
Like, if you want me to talk about something that I really disliked.
Oh, the Thundercat reboot.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hated the ending for Beast Machines. The techno-organic Cybertron. I
Oh
hated
god,
it.
I don't like that.
Okay.
No.
I
don't like the Cybertron in Prime Wars trilogy.
The first half of Armada is hard to get through.
Oh.
And some of those episodes are animated so poorly.
Yeah.
And then Energon is a chore to watch. But I enjoyed animated. I enjoy Prime.
Yeah.
I enjoy Cyberverse.
I enjoyed 2001.
I did not enjoy the Prime Wars trilogy.
No.
And the Netflix trilogy was a step up from the Prime Wars trilogy.
Well, yeah, small step. Like a half level.
I liked the integration of the Beast Wars characters in Kingdom, but I hated the voice direction.
Yeah.
You know, so like I have my ups and downs about things, but Transformers Prime is an interesting series because, you know, when I first watched it, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I mean, I wish RC was was more a little bit more traditional. You know, I wish Soundwave was a little bit more traditional.
Yeah.
But I mean, it had some really good storytelling.
Knockout is the best thing to come out of that show.
Was a standout character.
Yeah.
Beast Wars was dope. Absolutely. The minute Unicron gets more focus in Armada, it finally got the ball rolling. Yeah, like that was what really pushed Armada to be a beloved series for a lot of people.
How do you feel about the 2001 RID? I liked it at the time.
I had a Robots in Disguise is a lot of fun.
Yeah, Scourge was such a.
So is Transformers Prime your number one more than anything else, Alfonso? Or
yes, it is.
Yeah, so even more than the Bay films.
Yes.
So yeah, so you put that as a step above.
It's my favorite continuity ever. Granted, I haven't seen them all, but I severely doubt that.
Well, you kind of never replace your first, right? The first is the first. You'll always compare it to the first. So
that actually is my G1, to be honest. I mean, yeah, the Bayverse, I grew up with it, but Transformers Prime was my interest, I think, into the real story, because obviously the Bayverse is not a good example of story,
right?
But it was my real, actual, in-depth interest, and so Peter Cullen's Prime in that show was my Prime.
Okay,
so I can't see him as this like fun, playing basketball when there's a war breaking out. It doesn't fit what my expectations are. Like, there's other characters that can be that, like Smokescreen was in the show, and Bumblebee has always been in every single. So it's like I feel like my Prime is that, and
so it's hard for you to see, Optimus Prime be a little bit looser as far as Peter Cullen.
He can, but not like cracking jokes type. He can be involved in the fun, but not be the main show. Yeah,
if you think of the psychology of somebody who's been at war for 4 million years or 9 million years in G1.
Yeah.
I think the Prime personification of Transformer Prime of Optimus was probably more in line with somebody who would suffer a lot of PTSD after continued exposure to combat.
It makes sense
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that might be just because at the time, Flynn Dilly said it, we didn't think about writing episode in continuity. We just did episode of the week, character of the week, have some good writing, good voice acting. That was the
story editors that kept track of that stuff.
Exactly. But it wasn't the main focus of the show because there's no over arc to the story in G1. Like, I mean,
there is. Well, season 3, I would argue.
Season 3 for sure.
Season 3 has a little bit more of an overarching story. Season 1, that is a continuous story. Season 2 is where you can watch any of the episodes in any order.
Exactly. So I think, to be fair, I think G1 Optimus Prime, after 9 million years, okay, he slept 4 of those. So after 5 million years of combat,
the biggest thing
that
you have to understand about G1 Prime is that he's trying to acclimate to life on Earth.
Yeah.
Whereas Transformers Prime, there's that one scene where he says to Ultra Magnus, and he's like, they're like, I just kind of like, you know, nod and affirm. Like, I think that's what I forgot exactly what he said in that line, but
Yeah.
like when you know what I'm talking about, when he said, like,
Yeah, Magnus is like, "What's a kilt?" And he goes, "Agent Fowler can at times be a blink. It is simply good to sometimes just nod and mobilize."
exactly, yeah. And I sat there and I went, so you're telling me that this
But,
version of Prime
but,
doesn't
sorry,
go ahead, but he
Go ahead.
doesn't get acclimated to life on Earth, and that was where I was like, oh, it was in the moment,
Mhm.
it was hilarious,
Yeah,
but when you think about it, you're like,
I think he's
okay,
getting acclimated without the fun because Agent Fowler actually not Agent Fowler. Ultra Magnus represents what a general who's hardened by war actually would have looked like
mhm.
in his character. He was more commanding, and that got on Wheeljack's nerves many times. But it was Prime who got acclimated to, you know, the humans and the Earth conflict that was trying to lead Ultra Magnus into loosening up a little bit. So there was an acclimation. It just wasn't. He didn't lose
Well,
his stoicism, his nobility,
yeah.
his
The
cadence.
difference between the two would have been a career general being Ultra Magnus, and then
Yeah,
somebody forced into a war was more Optimus Prime. That's why I think
sure.
the
Yeah.
PTSD would have been more of a
What I mean by like how like Optimus was in Generation 1 though is that like because he's trying to acclimate to life on Earth, he's trying to get into the things that are like that people are doing. Because there's an episode where they play Optimus is not involved in it, but they play football with Dinobots. Which
right.
is hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually trying to like play football like outside of the arc. It was like it's hilarious because you're what it kind of gave you was the Transformers are here. This is now their home. They need to get acclimated to living here. So they're trying to learn Earth's culture. And what really made it work was a character like Jazz.
Yeah.
And you know, because you have Jazz,
Would have
he's so into Earth's culture. You know what G1 Optimus didn't like, and I think that Prime Optimus would be the same. Earth's music.
yeah.
I would agree.
Because that's because Jazz, you know, because not Jazz, but Blaster, who was he was a boombox,
Yeah.
would play Earth's music really loud, and Optimus is like, it's hurting my audio receptors.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
because it was one of the great things that you had so many characters that just bounced off each other. Yeah, that was great. The Dreams of Daikon.
I guess since we've gotten examples of a Prime that does that, they wanted to take him into a different approach, like personality wise. Since we've gotten it before, they wanted to explore something else, and I think it works for the seriousness of what was happening around them with Mech, with the Decepticons, and then of course the Iacon relics that became a big deal, and then it was just a lot of things going on. But I think, yeah, I understand. I just feel like they have examples of that, and that was a good, I guess, change. Like, you know, I don't know. Because they did take a lot of inspiration from the original G1 show. It just wasn't that specific thing. There's certain elements that I think by them separating from from G1, it creates a different feel, and it can attract different. It attracts different audiences. But I understand.
Just to answer this question, you need to see Robots in Disguise 2001. That's a very different Optimus. That was Neil Kaplan playing Optimus in that one. That series was actually very good. A lot of fun. It was more comical. Completely new cast of characters. What was really cool was the Nemesis Prime of that series was Scourge.
Yeah.
His name was Scourge in that series. or at least in the U.S. naming. It was Black Convoy, which is the Japanese name for Nemesis Prime. And that one was interesting because it was a dark, evil clone of Prime. But that Optimus was like, it had a mix of, it was kind of a balance between what you now see out of Transformers Prime and G1 Prime. There was a little bit of a mix there. There was the seriousness, but also the, was a little bit more, I would say a little more lighthearted. Mm-hmm. So, there's a lot of balance there. So,
yeah.
Skybite was great too. Yeah. Skybite was definitely a great character.
Yeah. And they brought him back in Cyberverse. And
yep.
It was with the rivalry with Jetfire.
That was okay. It was Cyberverse was like the celebration of every Transformers series before it.
Yeah. They had a couple
with a lot of IDW influence.
And they had new characters too that I never seen before. Like the gunslinger in the Western Earth Desert. That was just different.
Now, I need Alfonso to understand something.
What's up?
So my take is this. You're allowed to love whatever Transformers series that you love more first. You love Transformers Prime. There's someone else who loves animated more.
Yeah.
There's someone who loves Cyberverse more than everything else that we love. Mm-hmm. There is the hardcore Beast Wars fanatic. But that doesn't take away from us all loving this franchise.
I agree.
We can all come together as fans. We can disagree about stuff. We can have our opinions.
Yeah.
Our opinions are allowed to be different. And you're welcome in the fandom too. And you know what I'm saying? And, and I'm saying that to you because I want you to understand that there's nothing about me as an old school G1 guy that is trying to say to you, you're not allowed to be a fan and you're not allowed to like your favorite Transformer series. I can criticize it, but my criticisms of it are not a detriment to your enjoyment of it. I can understand why the Transformers Prime fan could say, look at Generation 1 and go, it's not my cup of tea, or I don't care for it. There's about this.
Yeah.
But I'll watch Transformers Prime and enjoy it. But, for me, it's always going to be Generation 1, right? There's always going to be that, difference of opinion, and we're allowed to have those differences of opinion. And I think there should be more unity in that respect, that we can enjoy the different Transformers series together, even if we have differing opinions and different outlooks on how things should be done.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
It's all about respect, as long as my happiness doesn't intrude on your happiness, we can all coexist and have some fun. One thing that you see that the fandom is divided and probably always has been divided ever since Beast Wars, Truck Nut Monkey and stuff like that.
You know what? And not everybody stood by that though.
No. But I mean, it divided part of the fandom.
There were some fans who were, yeah.
Exactly. I won't lie. I noticed very little of that at when Rise of the Beast came out. When they united Truck and Monkey, and even when War for Cybertron Kingdom came out, I saw you're starting to see less of that as they merged the two. But
I mean, there's so many. Just take Facebook, or maybe Alfonso, you're too young for Facebook now, but the Facebook groups, there's so many Transformers Facebook groups.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on some of the groups. Mm-hmm.
But they're so specific. Like there's G1
hardcore. Very specific. Transformers Prime OnlyFans.
Exactly. You have and I'm like, I try to, if I do a voice actor spotlight, I try to share in as many group as I can, so that I get as much view that I can. But I'm like, oh, this actor was not in this series, so I better not put it in that group because I'm going to get banned. I've been banned from G1 groups because I shared, an actor from Beast Wars. I'm like, I'm talking about voice acting here, so, and it's some people are just, trolls and they want to instigate, problems.
Problem stuff. Wyatt wants to know different Transformers shows to see the differences. Got to know, should I watch Earthspark? It's up to you, really. I found it a little drab for me. Like it kind of, it was kind of drab. And everyone mentions that one episode with all the action in episode 8, but I was like, okay, so that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the show.
And
anybody who's looking to expand their knowledge, I say go in order. Watch it all. Start from G1, see the source, see the evolution.
I mean, granted, people are going to come in wherever they're going to come in. Transformers Prime fans started in Transformers Prime. Like there are people who just started with Cyberverse.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Which kind of makes us feel old.
Raziel just said, his is your son, your daughter?
Yeah, my oldest son.
Your son.
My youngest son, sorry. That's to him, Cyberverse is like he loves, like I got him the Legacy Volcanicus, and he's not dissociating shows yet. So to him, Volcanicus is the same guy, even though he doesn't transform and look the same in Cyberverse than he does in the Legacy series. But he loves that toy so much that I got him the Toy Hanks decals. I pre-ordered the DNA upgrade kit for it. And he keeps asking me, why don't you combine your Studio Series 86 Dinobots? I'm like, they don't combine, and I would never do that. But it's just, it's fun.
I'm not big on Dinobots combining.
Oh God, but you know what? The Legacy Volcanicus figure is good. It's fun, and I played with that at times.
You started with the Bumblebee movie? Like that's where you came into the fandom from? Wow.
Well, that's a good start,
Yeah. It was, the movie was a lot of fun.
But
this is what I mean. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, we have our opinions about different Transformer series, and we all have our start, and we all like what we like. And, I'm not one of those people who goes off saying, like, I hate Prime. I dislike things in Prime, but that's my opinion. Someone else might like it.
Well, I hate Beast Machines. But it's true. There's elements of it that I didn't mind too much, but it's just mostly the actors. And I really like the Rhinox twist, with the fact that he wasn't brainwashed by Megatron or transformed into Tank. He agreed with Megatron and his philosophy. To me, that was the biggest twist ever.
It was a very big twist, and it's one that in retrospect, I thought it was a really crazy cool twist. And when I first watched it on rewatch, I didn't care for it.
Well, because you kind of knew where it was going. That's the thing with rewatch. You know what's going to happen. I'm like, yeah.
So. Like Dark of the Moon, which I know is Alfonso's number one. My biggest complaint out of that movie is how come we always took focus off of the Transformers?
Yeah.
We're in the climax when they're climbing up the skyscraper and the driller's coming up for them. That sequence took forever. I wanted to know what happened to the Autobots that were fighting the Decepticons on ground level. I wanted to see that.
Yeah.
That was what I wanted to see. And I'm watching Dark of the Moon wondering when it's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, we've got the Autobots captured. And Soundwave's got them captured.
Check Larkin's comment.
Huh? What's that?
Check Larkin's Larkin's comment.
Oh. If you were 10 when Cyberverse first aired, you'd be 15.
There's one after that. He said, I'm sure there are Japanese fans that like KISS players. I guess the KISS players, it could be something that people like.
Yeah, I think that's one that's universally hated.
Potentially. I've never read it. I saw a screenshot once, and I'm like, nope, not doing that.
Nope. Megatron.
No.
Mm-hmm.
We need a good Megatron again.
And that's fine. I mean, you know what I loved about Dark of the Moon? They had Optimus's trailer.
Yes.
That was awesome. Another thing that was awesome was I wish that they kept Michaela's character around, but I understand why, and they brought Carly in, but
at least they named her right. But there's one scene in Dark
that
of the
was
Moon.
naming her Michaela Baines was very vain of Michael Bay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michaela,
there's
Baines, Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very vain of him. But Dark of the Moon, I think Dark of the Moon was the best of the. I think the first and the third were the best of the two Bay films, despite my dislike of the Bay films as a whole. And I think Dark of the Moon, I loved a lot what they added to Dark of the Moon to try and keep fans in that were long-standing fans that were like, well, how come you couldn't do this and how come you couldn't do that? Like the whole Megatron's master plan thing. Oh, the other thing, Atlantis Arise, with Megatron sitting on the
yes, that's right,
on the Lincoln Memorial.
That's right.
In G1, he just took Lincoln off and threw him to the side. But in Dark of the Moon, he blasted it.
One thing that they should have rewrite more about Carly's character, because there's that scene where she's face to face and kind of confronting Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
But that scene was a Michaela scene, right? Like it should have been her, and then you could see that the emotion that Carly is displaying would have fit more a character who would have been in the know about Megatron and would have feared him and would have be terrified of him. And
they don't want us talking Bayverse. They don't want us talking Bayverse. We could talk Transformers Prime.
We can talk anything.
Knockout, Bulkhead.
Yeah.
Both of those characters were great.
Yeah.
Loved both of those characters in Transformers Prime.
And to a point, RC, if she would have had another name, yeah, she's a good character.
Mm-hmm.
Even Smokescreen, who was Hot Rod, or maybe to an extent.
And then Wheeljack was basically Springer.
Oh, that's actually a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a character that Alfonso has no idea who that is.
I know Springer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy the character. I just look at the character. When you start to know a character, you become attached to that character. You start looking at it and going, how come that's not that's a different character? You know what I mean? Your wires get crossed. I think that's because we've been around for too long.
Well, too long. I don't know. I still got a couple of years kicking. But yeah.
Yeah, you are older than me.
Yes, I am. Thank you for pointing it out.
You were the one that said your age. No, I'm 42.
I'm 46. I'm gonna be 46 in what are we today? 24th. So in a little more than a month. So yeah.
What did Cyber Chicken cross? Ha 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 ha.
Nice.
This is what separates the Autobot from the robot chicken. Ain't no one calling me a robot chicken.
I remember people asking if the show Robot Chicken got his name from that scene.
From that episode in G1 Transformers.
Check with Seth MacFarlane. He, not Seth.
No.
Seth Green. Yeah. He probably could tell you. That was a good show. I don't know if it's still on. Probably not. Robot Chicken.
Your mom? You know this person?
I don't, but that's my fault. I started that joke on my channel.
Oh, your mom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a running thing. It's my fault.
Kato did that.
Hey, I answered that question for all of you. I made a whole video about that.
I think it's just the editing. They should have had more scenes.
They were supposed to have the na 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 na.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you would have known it was a different event.
Exactly.
Ain't no one
That is
calling me a
gas.
robot chicken, Braun, 1984.
There you go.
I love that. That's my son's favorite character. He
My
was
second
shredded.
favorite figure of 2023 was Braun.
My son was. It took him a bit to get over the 1986 movie because of Braun.
I think I did watch it with my son. Couldn't care less. I have to restart, try again.
My daughter is happy because of the episode Starscream Ghost and Ghost in the Machine that Starscream came back.
Yeah. That's one thing that stayed.
How much of G1 have you seen, Alfonso?
I couldn't tell you. A good bit of it. I just haven't finished the show.
Okay.
So that's your goal for this year, right? Is to finish.
My goal is to finish and to start a lot of things I haven't seen. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you watch the 1986 movie?
Yes, I saw that.
Okay.
Where
I saw that movie for the first time in 1988, I think, maybe 9. Because up north, rural area, didn't have a theater, and a cartoon movie really wouldn't have made it to a local theater in my area. So when I was working at that internet service provider I was talking about earlier, somebody mentioned that he saw it like in VHS. So again, my age is showing. And so he got it for me and I watched it. And my first thought was like, wow, this is Transformers the musical. And then I remember being absolutely surprised because I did watch the show on my computer a lot in the 90s. And I was so shocked that people were actually dying. I didn't have an 8-year-old reaction, but I was like, holy crap, they're killing people, like smoking all. And then when Optimus died, I still had a full range of emotion going on. It didn't strike me as hard as it would have had if I would have been a kid, but
I saw it in theaters. I saw it in theaters in '86.
Lucky.
What was your take on the Predacons Rising movie?
Predacon Rise.
Alfonso.
Me?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I think they were trying their best to continue the story in some way because
the Beast Hunter thing. Okay,
yeah, with Predaking and Megatron, Unicron together. I think it was nice. I think it was a good way to but I think the way it ended was good. I like the way that it ended, like the way that they parted all the characters. Prime sacrificing himself, spoiler alert, Megatron actually just declaring a truce rather than being destroyed.
I don't think I've seen that. Season 3 was Beast Hunter, right?
Yes, but there was a movie that followed.
There's a movie. Yep. Okay, because the last thing I know is Bumblebee is talking and he's black.
Oh no, there's a whole movie that followed that. Yeah.
Yep.
There was so spoiler alert, Prime dies. Okay, I'll go watch it.
Yeah, it was a made-for-TV movie.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. I didn't know. I had no idea there was a movie about that.
They brought in 2 more Predacons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one was named Skylynx. And yeah, I know. But yeah, no, one was named Skylynx, and I thought it was a good wrap up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they were really trying to push it hard to keep the story going with Robots in Disguise. And I think that that one was a show searching for a reason to keep going.
If I may, before I go, because I do have to go real quick, but
yeah, I'm gonna have to get ready to go now too.
I will say this: I believe the Transformers Prime story ends at the end of Predacons Rising. I don't count RID at all. I can't do it. It ends at the end of the movie of Predacons Rising. Whatever they were trying to do, I don't think it works. So I don't even count it personally. Of course, it might be, on textbook, but the way that it integrates with the whole entire story from the beginning of the show, Predacons Rising wrapped it up. And they just tried to keep beating a dead horse after that. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, but they did it for 4 seasons after that, so it couldn't have been that bad. Like, I mean, I haven't finished it. I'm like halfway to season, or maybe near the end of season 2. When, yeah, so I still need to finish that. But I get it. For me, Beast Wars ended at the end of Beast Wars. Beast Machine doesn't exist. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, there it is.
Yeah,
The
there
same
it is.
concept.
same
I,
thing.
I look at it the same way. Like Beast
Yeah.
Machines is like, ugh.
Well, that's
A
how I
lot
feel
of people
about
really
Prime.
like Beast Machines. I'm not a Beast Machines guy.
And for my collection, it ends at season 3. I don't call it, okay, Fortress Maximus, the Titan, but I personally did not enjoy the concept of target masters and headmasters being humanoids in robots, mixed together. I'm like, why the heck do we want more humans in this?
Have you seen the Japanese Headmasters series, Raz?
I saw a bad dub of it,
Oh.
so
That'll taint it for you.
yeah. So I want to do it with a sub instead, with original
You gotta
voice.
watch it with the subs.
So
Yeah,
I have,
this is the subs versus dubs argument.
but there's
right?
no humanoids in those heads, right?
So what's your take then, Alfonso, about the fan-made film that was supposed to come out, or did it come out?
Is that the Galvatron's Revenge?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it.
I haven't seen it either. I only saw like that they were making it, and
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that they were making it, but then I knew that it was fan made, so I didn't, I guess, prioritize.
that's kind of how I looked at it too. Like, because there is a fan-made continuation of Generation 1 that takes place after Headmasters that someone's trying to do on YouTube, and there's continuity errors that drive me up the wall.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm a stickler for continuity that way,
Yeah,
which is probably why you don't like Robots in Disguise 2015.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of continuity flubs in that show.
Can't do it. Nope.
That just drive, because when you're sitting there looking at one show and you move on to the next, and you're like, how are you? The inline continuity is a mess.
Yeah.
But I do have to hop off. I do thank you both for having me. I just
listen, Alfonso, you got to understand something. You're always welcome to come here. You're always welcome, around. This was first of all, it was a pleasure having you guys both.
Thank you.
So glad you were able to make, to come on. Understand again, I want to stress the point. You could, there's no animosity towards us as for having a preference.
Yeah.
For our favorite Transformer series. We both enjoy this we all three of us enjoy this franchise together. And same thing with everybody else who's still on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Well, and that's one of the great things about being a Transformers fan. So it was great having you, Alfonso.
Yep. Likewise. Thanks for
having me. You gotta
go.
I'll let you get going. Be sure to follow if you guys aren't already subscribed to Alfonso or Raz. I'll put the links. If you have to go, Raz, I'll put the links in the chat.
I'm good for, I'm probably working from home tomorrow because there's
I can do this all day, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think my wife already went to bed, so I'm good.
I'm gonna have to get ready to wrap this up.
I don't have a wife, but I have a lot to do.
If you want to wrap it up, no problem. You go ahead.
Well, I mean, Alfonso's got to go, but I'll stay on for maybe another 5 minutes.
You guys can stay on, but thank you for having me. Most appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
Nice to see you guys. All right. Good night.
Good night. We're nerds. We're too nerdy. We keep going.
Yep. Now I love live streaming. I'm gonna have my 3-year anniversary probably early February, and then after that, there's my birthday on the 27th. So I might have another stream. So it's just fun. I mean, my last stream. Okay, I'm a small channel, right? So having one of the people that I watch, either being you, Patriot Prime, Kato, Deluxe, having them on my channel is always so satisfying. It's so amazing to me because, in a sense, it's not that any of us are celebrities, but we still have a reputation. We still have, people that follow our channel our content, because what I try to do, and I don't know if you're like me, but I'm selective with whom I stream with. Not that I'm not gonna name anybody, but there's channels that are just not for me, and I don't like the style. Or if you're gonna review a figure live and eat a donut while doing it,
Oh yeah. Why would you do that?
exactly.
Why'd you? Yeah.
Exactly. So, and there's you people that have conversation, if you're gonna stream the whole time and you're lying in your bed and the camera's on your chest and we see your chin for an hour, it's not interesting to me. That's why I like you, I like Patriot Prime and Kato. There's a
Larkin's hairy
professionalism
arms.
to it.
We got to give props to Larkin's hairy arms. And I say that because because Larkin's a friend, so it's just I could say that about Larkin.
I love
because Larkin and I both have hairy arms.
Yeah,
and,
well, I'm lucky for that. I did.
Right.
My hair doesn't show, so I'd love to have Larkin on my channel at one point. But
I've invited him. I invited him. I sent out the invite, so I invited you. I invited Alfonso, and I invited Larkin and Patriot and Fire Talks and all them. But a lot of them were busy, and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Tonight, because earlier in the stream, and I'm going to use this as like the final points I want to make. I knew I needed to come on to the live stream because I have this situation right now going on where I'm just like really trying to figure out like how I'm going to keep the lights on, kind of thing. And but interacting with my audience and having friends that I can talk to about Transformers is just as exciting to me.
Yeah.
And it's that passion that I want to know to keep the franchise going. You know what I mean? Hey, a lot of us love Generation 1, and there's the Prime fans, and there is the other fans and stuff. Like, we can all talk Transformers. I mean, we're the old school guys. We're going to be talking G1 till we're blue in the face. Because there's something about Generation 1 that captivated us. Think about it. The franchise has gone through so many changes over 40 years. We're in the 40th year of Transformers. And it's gone through so many changes.
Yeah. And so many toy lines, and it's hard to follow it. Like, I'm a recent collector. I still consider myself a very recent collector because I started
that collection of yours, man.
4 years. Yeah, it looks big because I display it like that, but I mean, there's only that one wall and a couple figures here, so it's
I got stuff in bins. I actually got to sell some of the stuff in the bins.
Yeah. Honestly, if Siege had not happened, I probably would not have collected, because I always thought if I was to collect, I would collect G1 figures. But then when I saw the cartoon accuracy of Siege and Rise, and that was just okay. I need these figures now because they stepped out of the screen, and they kept doing that with Legacy, and hopefully they're going to keep the generation line going like that.
They were kind of going that direction with Titan's Return.
Yeah,
but it really wasn't until the War for Cybertron.
Exactly. Like, I mean, they hinted at.
They hit that. They like literally hit an itch for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, there was to me, that was, well, that's what really, made me pull the trigger, was the cartoon accuracy. And also, it's weird. I like the cartoon accuracy, but then I'll toy hacks them, and then they look a little more like the toys. G1. So, but it's just, toy hacks makes me feel artistic because I'm not. I can't sing word shit. I can't actually, I can sing. I cannot play music. I cannot draw. I'm not artistic like that. I can edit. Okay. I like producing the content on my channel. That's fun. That's artistic. But toy hacks is just like, I'm applying stickers and it looks nicer. So I feel like I am an artist.
You've customized. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So like this RC specifically, not only did I add the toy hacks labels, but I also got the Go Better set.
Okay.
which is the filler kits for her legs. So I mean, you can't. I don't know if you could. It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
There.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's good.
Right.
See, actually Jinbao was my first upgrade kit. That's
The other thing is that look at the there's that pink stripe there, right here, and because I painted the midsection, I also painted her back. So like you look at that, the gray paint goes all the way around.
Oh, it looks good.
Even though that there is the midsection, and then of course the Toy Hacks labels fills in all the details there. So, and I also painted the back of her car.
Oh yeah, I did get the Toy Hacks for her.
Let's see if I can get this open.
I sold my Earthrise RC, a couple other figures. I actually sold it to a grandma who wanted to buy Transformers for her grandson. And she was like, oh, you'll have to ship it to me because I'm, 2 hours from you. I'm like, well, actually, I'm going to TFCon Toronto. So I'll just drop him off at your place. So I left at like 3 a.m., got to her place at 5, drop it in a bin that she had outside. And she paid me in advance like 4 days. I'm like, okay, you are a grandma. I'm like, I never pay anyone.
You can see the back of the car.
Yeah. That looks way better.
I painted it, and then the Toy Hacks labels went over it for the whole back section of the car.
That's cool. See, I only have one custom figure. And it's not me who did it, of course. That's Input's job. He did that Raziel Kane figure. But I recently got this from Christopher Vellner. You probably heard the name. He's been doing those custom tech spec.
Okay. From
1984 and stuff. He made a Raziel Kane one. You can't see it here because my camera's crap. But yeah, he made me a custom Raziel Kane figure, tech spec. That's the coolest thing ever. Like I don't think I'll top that in a while. Just for the coolness factor.
How does the T-shirt looking? The Starscream T-shirt. How did that come out?
Oh.
I'm curious how that one came out because I had a lot of fun drawing it. So, yeah, we know the RoboSen Megatron is going to be a tank. Personally speaking, I'm
tired.
What's that?
I'm tired of the tank. Honestly, if tomorrow morning Hasbro says, okay, Megatron's going to be a toaster now, I'll buy it.
You're tired of the tank?
Of the tank. Like, stop making it because it never okay. A G1 Megatron as a tank doesn't fit, A War for Cybertron, the game, or even the Siege mode was great. Earthrise wasn't that great, but Siege was great. But if you're gonna make a G1 style Megatron robot and he doesn't transform into a gun, I'm out. I'm tired of the tank. So that's why I have this. Next to, well, you can't see it, but I have a third party. Well, it's actually a Jinbao Megatron. He's a legend scale, a bit oversized, so he's too short to be a chug, but he transforms into a gun. I'm like, how can these KO companies import to us, without getting in trouble? I don't understand it. I think Hasbro is just still under the spotlight.
Target and Walmart won't stock it, and they would be forced to put the orange cap on there. And so there's a lot of legal hooplas they'd have to go through. But as far as a gun mode Megatron, like I loved the whole concept of the psychology of a gun mode Megatron.
Yeah.
Okay. He turns into a gun. He's more powerful as a gun. He's an incredibly powerful weapon. And if you can get that weapon in your hands, you now hold a gun that can destroy tons of Autobots.
Yeah.
I mean, you can imagine the glee of Starscream in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't turn around and shoot other people, rivals in the show and everything. It's always like, man, I can use this to.
What people don't understand, is why He-Man worked so well. He-Man, the thing about He-Man and why the whole character and concept of Prince Adam works so well is I have the power.
Exactly.
Megatron is a gun. You now have the power of Megatron in your hands. I am now the most powerful Decepticon because I hold Megatron in my hands.
Yeah.
What that also does is that it sends the message to Megatron. He is leading you, not your boss. Even though he does in a lot of ways act like the boss.
Yeah. But
Because Megatron is this gladiator warrior of combat. What's going to make people follow him? What if Megatron lent you his power that now you feel empowered to conquer the universe with Megatron leading you?
No, it was unique, like it, because they could never do it again.
Yeah, that's the psychology of it. Now, okay, all right. Modern people, they hate guns. They don't want that stuff on the toy shelf, and they can only really do a Nerf gun now, or they have to do the orange cap, and U.S. toy gun laws are different now, so they really can't ever revisit it. The tank, we have enough tank Megatrons.
Yeah.
But one thing I loved about Transformers animated Megatron was that helicopter mode.
Oh, the dual side blades. Yeah.
But what made that work was the fact that you could still have a G1 alt mode because of the sleekness. I mean, the G1 robot mode because of the sleekness of the helicopter. And basically, he's a giant flying gun.
At this point, I think I'd like Megatron to try a different alt mode.
Yeah.
Like an artillery.
Like animated. And
yeah,
with the understanding that you could still turn that into a gun mode if you really, really wanted.
Yeah. Well, Patriot Prime did the review, and he mentioned that there is the concept Bumblebee movie Megatron. There's a way you can transform him into a gun. Yep. I don't know how well that pegs in, but kind of feels like
I saw someone do it with a Megatron, and what I like, and that's a triple changer too. Like he actually has the jet mode and the tank mode, because it's basically like Bayverse kind of thing, mix in.
Think about it, Siege Soundwave kind of is a triple changer. There's that hidden post mode. What do you call that? In the pilot episode when he transformed into like not a tape deck on when Jazz is floating by. Soundwave, in the pilot episode, like he transforms, he just stands and he bends a little bit.
Lamppost.
A lamp. Okay, so that's wow, heck of a lamp. So Siege Soundwave, you can do that. So that's kind of a triple changer. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of. Like, I didn't like Mirage, Rise of the Beast being in multi-changer at all.
Yes.
To me, that killed why do you need, because to me, there's still a transformation cog in there. That's why, if you're going to be, Metroplex needs a special T-cog so that he can transform from city to robot. Triple changer, to me, have a different T-cog so that they can have two alt modes.
The movies never cared.
No.
We know this. You know this. I know this. The movies never cared.
It's just, but when I saw Jazz in F1 Racer, I'm like, come on, that's a big slap to all of us. It's not a nod. That's just hey, we could have done it, but we didn't. I'm like, come on, Mirage should have been different. I think they should have went with Jazz instead.
So it was a lot of fun, but I'm definitely tired. It's 10:30.
Yep.
And I am ready to fall asleep. Yeah. What's that?
You're exhausted. That happens, man. It's it's always there. But thanks for having me so much. And it's always fun to be able to connect with you. And I like that. So I'm glad you got the Jazz The Origin Jazz, all right. So
Yeah, I did. I haven't opened him out of the box yet.
really,
Yeah. I gotta go dig out the Origins Bumblebee figure, and because I have that figure that needs to be opened, the Beast Wars 2-pack,
right? Okay.
and I have the Deathsaurus to open.
Oh, that's right. You have the Devzorus.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I have
Well,
that, and
have
I
fun.
have the Agora models that I have to put together. Oh my gosh,
The what?
have you not heard of the Agora model kits?
No, I don't think so.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Agora. They've been sending me these boxes because it's a whole Optimus Prime kit.
Like YOLO Park? Kind of.
It's going to be like 3 feet tall,
What?
31 inches tall.
Wow.
They come in kits. It's supposed to be 12 kits. I have about nine boxes so far I have to put together.
So they send it to you, and they want you to build it live.
Either build it live, or I'll do is I'm going to it's going to be a big beefy Optimus Prime non-transforming figure, and it has the mouth moves up and down, and it has electronics, and it talks.
Wow. So kind of a RoboSen competition, but doesn't.
It's
transform.
basically you build it, but it's RoboSen without the transforming.
Okay.
Huge, giant. I think it's bigger than RoboSen. I think, right? 31 inches.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Hey, that's gonna be interesting. Can't wait to see that.
Thing's gonna be 28 pounds when it's all said and done.
Wow.
Oh gosh. Wow. It's expensive.
Probably.
Very expensive. This is how expensive it is.
I'm not.
$75 a kit.
Okay. First 6 packs for $7.99. Whoa. Okay. Accelerated starter. Wow. Full kit 15. Holy crap. That's okay. That's expensive. So they send it to you and kind of a sponsorship thing. They want you to. Okay. Well, good luck. I mean, that's gonna be fun. It's just finding the time sometimes, eh? That
has been my problem.
Yeah.
And not only do I want to open up the figures that I have and enjoy them. I mean, I'm having fun here with RC and Rodimus sitting here around my on my shelf because of the kids, which I don't know if you saw we're on when I had the kids on.
Yeah. Well, I saw a couple of times you had your children with you, so and that's cool. I love that Street Fighter short. That was fun.
Oh yes. There's this one here, which since I'll play it again. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces on the Decepticon. The Transformers, robots in the skies. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers.
I love your son. He's like, no, I'm not saying that. He's just playing, having fun.
He's just playing, having fun. Yeah. Aerith is completely into it. She's been asking me question after question after question. She wants to know this stuff, and
well, that's my son asks me questions all the time. But now he's talking like me. He's like, "Oh, I need this for my collection." I'm like, "No, you don't." Because I mean, I do buy him the core class stuff. I don't want for myself, and so he does have a few figures.
Are you on Twitter or no?
No, not on Twitter. Just Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
Discord.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm just I'm just posting on Twitter real quick, just because.
No problem. Yeah, this was fun. Thank you for inviting me, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm just getting tired now. It's been 3.5 hours.
Yep,
And
that's
I think
the longest live stream. So actually, we just beat you and Flynn Dilly. So there you go. That was a 3-hour stream you did with Dilly.
that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had him for 1 hour, and then his earbud gave out.
Okay.
Such an amazing man.
Yeah, he can go on for hours just like I can.
Yeah.
That's been a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
you guys have a good one, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Until next time. Actually, yeah, I'll just play us out. Tell everybody what to do, where to follow everybody.
Okay. Well, you can find RodimusPrimal on Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff. You can
And
find me
Instagram here on YouTube.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Discord, Steam. I'm there. There's my Facebook page as well. Instagram, I post shit pictures, so if you want to take a look at that. And every Saturday at 7:30, I do a video. Sometimes on Wednesday, like today, if it's a non-transformer figure. And I do voice actor spotlight, and I did 9 interviews. So if you want to check that out and subscribe, I would be extremely grateful. Thank you. Want me to do my outro?
Also, give shout out for Alfonso for showing up and
Yes, that was
having
fun.
fun and listening to us ramble like old timer Transformers fans.
We should have a porch background. Just 2 guys sitting on a porch. Talking stuff.
Get off my lawn.
I'll say what I say to everybody at the end of each of my video. Thanks for, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Leave a comment. We love reading those. Keep coming back. We have more on the way. And remember, nothing in life gives you a right to be an asshole. Take care.
Oh, well, there you go. Now you're swearing. Until next time, till all are one.